go. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Jay, good to see you here. David Stone on my call here. Sheila, good to see you here. George, who else we got here? Luis.
How's it going, John?
Thad, Kevin, awesome to have you. Daryl, nice to see you. Simon, good to see you again. Dora, we have a few of our family here. John, lots of Johns. Johns. Glenn, good to have you here. We've got a whole bunch of people jumping on. Wes, good to see you, Wes. Nice to have you here.
Thanks.
Kyle Campbell, nice to see you. Howard Tayano, always a pleasure to see you. You always remind me of D'Artagnan, dude. You swashbuckling, you're looking awesome. Thank you. Who else?
We just missed International Talk Like a Pirate Day.
That
was 2 days ago.
Nathan, good to have you. Paul, Sean, we've got a whole bunch of people jumping in. Justin Kimball, good to see you, my friend. Fernando, g'day, Fernando. Randy, love your photo there. Frankie, Josh, good to see you. Lots of familiar faces and names. Michael Popper, you legend. Good to see you here, all the way from the POD crew. Good to have you here, my friend. Craig Liddell, nice to have you here. Good to see you. Ravindra, hey Ravindra, how you doing? Dominic, Marcy, okay, Marcy, looking awesome there. I don't know if that's a fake background or a real background. That's quite a nice little background you got going on there. All right, so here to get some serious on. Today, sales is one of my favorite topics. Some of you might know this who know me, but it's an area that a lot of people struggle with in a lot of ways for multiple different reasons. And so I guess one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure you had this in this series and just acknowledging Extendly for putting this on, this part of your business is essentially the lifeblood of your business. Making sales the priority in your business is critical. Even if you're a solopreneur, right? Even you're on your own, sales is important because if you're running a small business, what generally happens is you'll work hard to prospect and you might get some referrals, you convert some clients, and you drop everything, you start doing fulfillment. And then you get caught up in the fulfillment phase, right? So now you're spending 80% of your time fulfilling what you've promised and probably no time or 10% of your time on trying to do some prospecting and some stuff on the way. And so you've flipped your opportunity to be able to grow your business, right? That's what happens. And what happens eventually, and I don't know if you've experienced this, but you're coming along, you're doing okay, and all of a sudden, for whatever reason, 2 or 3 clients decide to leave. And it's a big chunk of change that comes out of your bank account that you lose, right? So all of a sudden now, you've got no momentum. So you start to scramble, a little bit of panic. I've got to replace that. I've got some bills to come along, right? So you start to work again and you start to focus. You go and get some more clients, you get them on board, and eventually you start getting okay again. You get comfortable. And then you flop back into this delivery piece again, right? Just type 1 in the chat if you've experienced this. I'm putting my hand up. I've been in that situation. Yeah, right? Get a few clients on board, get a little bit comfortable. All of a sudden, 2 or 3 clients go, you know what, I've got to move on, or I'm not want to do this anymore, or circumstances change, or we're selling the business, or something happens. And you don't lose 1 client, you lose 2 or 3 in one hit. So it's a hit financially to your business, right? And I want to tell you why this happens. So there's a psychology to this. So in traditional business terms, it's called a roller coaster of cash flow, right? So 1 minute you're up, you're doing well, you stop prospecting, you stop doing the things you should be doing to get there, and then you focus on the fulfillment piece, and then all of a sudden, no more prospecting, no more clients, right? So no fresh cash into the business, or it becomes intermittent. So there is this philosophy, and it was introduced to me to, when I discovered this, it kind of changed my life completely. I'm going to share this with you so you understand the concept, because this is something that everybody experiences. No matter what circumstance you're in, right? Whether you're incredibly resourced or you're not, you're coming from different social backgrounds, everybody will have experienced what I'm about to share with you, right? So there's this concept, and it's called the bill mentality, BIL, paying bills, right? So I want you to play along with me in this scenario. And I want you to type 2 if you resonate with this. have you ever had a moment, and sometimes might have happened more than once, right? Have you ever had a moment where you've got, all of a sudden you've been hit with some regular bills, but then a big bill comes in and it's a chunky one and it's a painful one and you don't have the cash to take care of that bill, but it hits you. So you've got a cash flow issue, you've got bigger bills than income, right? And so you get hit, right? And you go, oh, okay, I've got to take care of that. There's a bit of stress, a bit of pressure, right? And so just type 2 of this has happened to you. So every now and again, you've got in a situation where you're a little bit stuck, cash flow down, and you get this massive hit. Something comes along and it's like, hey, we've got a big one to take care of, right? My first experience of this, my really big first experience with this was in my first year of business when I got a tax bill and I didn't have the money to pay the tax bill. And the tax bill was $60,000 cash that had to be paid on a deadline. And there wasn't $60,000 in my bank account to take care of it, right? I learned a very valuable lesson that day. The lesson I learned was, do not treat your business as a personal bank account. That was the lesson, right, in that day. So I was naive, first time out in business, and I was using my business account like a personal bank account. And I forgot that you had to pay taxes in your first year. And if you make money, the government wants some of that. Like they're saying there's a rule, you owe us some things, right? And I had, in my first year, I ended up with a $60,000 deficit that I had to pay to the tax office, right? So we get the big bill and it happens, we get hit, right? So here's what we do with the bill mentality. All of a sudden we start to get a little bit creative. We're going to take care of the ones we can take care of. And then we start planning. We start planning of when we're going to take care of the big bill, right? Or we're going to take care. So we get a few out of the way, and then we're going to say, great, we've got to start getting some clients. We've got to get some cash flow in. We've got to make sure we're, might tighten a few things up here because we've got to take care of that. And generally what happens in the bill mentality scenario is you get to a place where it's really close, and all of a sudden, you might get a refund check owing to you, or somebody who owes you money pays you, or you land a couple of big clients and you get some big deposits, or you get some money. You get the money, enough money, and just a little bit more to take care of the heavy bill. Just type 1 if you've experienced it, right? Just enough money to take care of it, and a little bit extra. A few people get what I'm talking about, right? Now, here's why this happened. It has nothing to do with woo-woo manifesting money. That's not what happened in the bill mentality scenario, right? What happened is you planned to pay the bill. You set a plan and a strategy to take care of it. And so what did you do? You took care of it. All your focus and energy was making sure that you upheld your responsibility to take care of the bill. And that's exactly what you did. You only asked for enough money to take care of the bill. That was it. And that's what you got. And a little surplus to go and have a coffee or a movie with a friend, right? A little breathing space, right? This will happen often. This will happen often. So when I discovered that I experienced this in a moment, I had a mentor of mine, one of my finance coaches. He said, John, the reason why this happens is because you only asked for the amount to pay the bill. You only planned to pay the bills. You didn't plan for growth. You didn't ask for more than the bills, right? If you applied the same energy and the strategy for more, guess what's going to happen? You'll never be worried about bills again. Now, I've had some pretty hefty bills in the last 20 years, some big ones, 300 grand, 700 grand, and I've literally cut a check for the money because of the concept of wanting more, asking for more, building for more, not for less, not for enough, but more. When you're building for more, you'll never worry about a bill ever again in your life. You'll never feel that pressure again because you're working a plan for more, not for enough. You understand? That's the bill mentality. The same strategy that got you to take care of that bill is the same strategy that will actually exceed any financial expectations or resources that you need so bills do not become a problem, right? I could be hit with some pretty hefty bills right now and I'd cut a check like that without even thinking about it, and it wouldn't hurt. Only because the last 20 years, I started asking for more in my business. So from a financial point of view, there's not a woo-woo thing, although I do love the woo-woos, right? Not a woo-woo thing. It's not a manifestation of money thing, right? You have to take the actions to go and generate the outcomes you're looking for. But if you plan for more and ask for more, you will have it. You will never be under-resourced ever again. You're never going to be in this feast-famine cycle. The feast-famine cycle means you're not asking for enough. You are only asking for enough to survive, right? And survival is death. Survival in business is death in business. You know, there's only three places you can be in business. You're either drifting down and you're heading out, you're trying to hold on, you're trying to survive, which means you're dying, right? Or you're drifting up. There are only three places you can be in business, right? You're either, if you're flatlining, you're dead. No growth, you're dead, right? Because you have to then build up the momentum to start drifting up. If you are dropping revenue, if you are this year, this time last year or last quarter, if your revenue this quarter is less than the revenue last quarter, you are drifting down, right? Which means you've got to look at where your attention and your focus is. And so I know, and many sales gurus and my coaches in the past have said, sales solve all problems. Sales solve all problems, right? I had the good fortune. Anybody know who Robert Herjavec is? Shark Tank, Herjavec Group. Yep. So I had the good fortune for about 6 months. Robert and I were literally talking on the same stages, running around the country. And I had the good fortune to spend time with Robert. And I had my moment with Robert where, you know, and I'm going to show my age here. I remember a movie called City Slickers with Billy Crystal and Jack Palance, right? Well, in that movie, Billy Crystal asked Jack Palance, because Jack Palance is this, you know, sort of salt of the earth, rough riding, you know, cowboy guy living, you know, his purpose in life. And he seemed content and happy with that. And Billy Crystal asked him, you know, well, what's the one thing? What's the one thing, right? While he's had his finger up or an arm up a cow, you know, you have to see the scene. It's very funny. But he asked the question, right? What's the one thing? And Jack Palance looks at him and says, it's the thing in your heart. You know what it is. You know what makes you happy. You know, and so I got that moment with Robert Herjavec. It wasn't the one thing of what life was. I said, what's the one thing in business? And so he thought about it for a second. And he looked, it didn't take him long, but he looked at me and he says, John, it's really simple. When times are really good, sales above all else. And when times are shit, sales above all else. Sales above all else. All sales solve all problems, right? So where is our attention? If our attention is not in helping and acquiring clients, then we are not growing. We are not putting revenue in our bank account, which means we're not in business. We're not actually being in business, right? So the focus here that I want to shift is I want to help you understand a very basic principle in sales that if you use the philosophy and the strategy that I share with you, that you'll be able to make sales anytime, anywhere that you want to. Right now, for the last couple of days, we've been sharing some really cool stuff and people have been taking some action and some people are getting results. I want to open this up just as an opportunity. If you want to type in the chat, what has happened for you in the last couple of days from applying anything that we've shared? You know, if you've made appointments, if you've closed a deal, do you mind just sharing with us in the chat? I'll give you a moment to do that. Tom did 2 deals. Dude, congratulations, man. Well done. 2 deals. Woohoo. Who else? I've booked 6 appointments, 2 appointments, sending out a proposal today. Awesome. I've had appointments set, 3 appointments. This is amazing. This is like real-time stuff. Subscribe to Sales Navigator, contacted several people, spoke with a few, which is awesome. Dora, well done. Congratulations. What else? Face-to-face appointments. Not qualified, that's fine. Both deals sending messages during the day. Well done. Congratulations to you, Tom. Wes, 1 deal closed. Well done. Congratulations. 3 appointments set for next week. Simon, we got 4 appointments. 2 we can get on a call. I want to do business. It's interesting. 2 people said they want to do business with you. Amazing. Overhauling my biz plan. You're right. I've been going about it all wrong. Okay, Michael, I appreciate you sharing that. Kyle, pitched for, what do we got? Wow, we've got some amazing things here. Pitch for your services to a client, 3x of what we normally charge. Well done, Kyle, learning that people will pay more. Nathan, use the scripts to set up a LinkedIn automation to my 10,000 network. Your script really helped with some of the messaging. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thad, One client wants a new service created after one day. Another wants GHL for $2,000 a month. Well done to you, Thad. I appreciate you saying that. Frankie, wow, the results are amazing. Proposals been delayed going up today because I've spent much of my time in production on client work. That's okay. Ara, good to see you here. Closed and paid a deal. Awesome. Well done. Glenn, congratulations. We've got some deals closed. 2 sales calls, 1 on board. Wow, Craig. Laurie, scheduled cold email, switched to higher pricing on my website, reached out to networking connections, engaged with 2 leads, 2 networking connections, and 1 networking connection, booked a call. Congratulations, Laurie. Congratulations to all of you. Like, all of this little action is creating some traction and revenue here. So I want to say thank you for sharing, and I appreciate those of you who've been taking action on the learnings over the last couple of days. I will say one thing before I get into the sales process here. Today, I'm going to share with you an opportunity to work with me. I've got a few people that I already work with that are willing to, that are kind enough to share their experiences. And the reason why is because I know that with a bit of focus and clarity that we can accelerate results. And you're going to meet some people along this journey with me. And if you are interested, I'm going to make it really easy for you, because I'm just trying to help as many people get into the game and lift their pricing as much as possible. I'm going to wear a t-shirt at the GHL Summit saying no $97, $297 subscriptions. Fuck no. Right. That's the t-shirt I'm going to wear. Right. So understand that I want to help people to sell their services at much higher prices. And we've got one of the people that I work with over the last couple of months who's kindly jumped in to share her experience and thought process of charging higher prices. Imagine signing clients up at 20 grand a month. Imagine signing a client up in 20 minutes for a 5 grand a month deal in 20 minutes for Go High Level, for lead management services. Right. So, credit cards are not safe today. Thanks, Nathan. I appreciate that. All right, let's get into the slide presentation. I'm just going to make sure that we've got all the right slides for you here. We're getting going. All right, so let me do this. All right. Oh, I don't know why that's there. Okay, so just want to make sure if you can see the slides, just give me a thumbs up. Thank you. Awesome. All right, so B2B sales series, 3-day sales mastery. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about generating paid strategy, so how you can get people to pay you for your time. So very quickly, shortening the sales process. Here's the sales process, sales problem that people have. Not talking to anybody in business today. If you haven't had a conversation with somebody in business today, or who's running a business, this is where your opportunities are going to turn against you, because you're losing momentum by not having these conversations. So by not talking to people who are in business, or not opening the channel to having conversations in business, this will hurt you in the long run. Not engaging with enough leads on a daily basis. The minimum that, if you want to generate 3 sales a month, if you are actively account marketing or account-based marketing, managing leads, you want to be at least communicating with at least 10 people a day. So that's about 200 people a month you're reaching out to, and that's 200 people you're going to be following up as well. And if your worst case scenario is just messaging these people, if you're a little bit reluctant or have a confidence in terms of being able to talk to people, and you're just messaging people, just engaging with 200 people in regular communication with outbound and a follow-up with email or messaging or text or social engagement, you should be able to close about 3 to 4 deals a month just with 200 leads, right? If this is what I mean, you're actively engaging every day. You're not, I'm just sending you a message and then wait, right? You're going to send a message out. Then you can say, hey, did you get my message? Hey, I've got an idea. I'm not sure if this is for you, but is it worth talking to you about this? Hey, I spoke to somebody the other day. Here was a concept we talked about. Not sure if this is for you. Are you interested? And you're just messaging these people on a daily basis. So you do 10 a day. That's 200 engagements in a month. I'll guarantee you'll close 3 to 5 deals every month. Just doing that. And that will take you less than 1 hour. Less than 1 hour a day, right? So not talking to the right people. Either the business you're speaking to are way too small, or you're not talking to a decision maker, right? Or it's easy to get into the smaller players because you're saying, hey, I want to help small businesses. Nothing wrong with wanting to help small businesses. The problem is a lot of small businesses have a small-minded mentality. They don't have a growth mentality. They've got a survival mentality in a lot of ways, or they're just trying things out. 85% of most small businesses will fail in the first 3 years of opening the doors. So 85% of the people you talk to in a small business might not be there in 3 years' time, right? They'll be out. So understand that, are we talking to the right people, right, at the right level? Not talking to qualified people. So we haven't qualified them on money, on timing, on decision-making, on whether or not this is something that will be helpful or useful to them, right? Whether or not they have the budget to pay. So if we're not talking to qualified people, right, then we're missing out on an opportunity. I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can get into the right people in a moment. No one has your offer in front of them. If nobody's got your offer in front of them today, they can't do anything about it. If nobody's got some form of engagement process with you, they cannot actively do anything with you. So it's physically impossible to grow your business without having an offer in front of somebody. You should have at least 10 offers a day in front of somebody to have the engagement, have the conversation, right? There's a guy that I worked with, Ken, and he works in a really interesting niche. He's based out of St. Catharines, based up in Toronto. And his niche is skyscraper window cleaning companies. Skyscraper window cleaning companies. Now, here's this niche. The average sale in the skyscraper window cleaning business, at the low end is about 100 grand. At the normal end is about $1 million contract. The average contract is about $1 million a sale. Right? The market's not huge. There's about 2,000 companies in this market in the US, and Ken works with 40 of them. And the average amount of money that they pay him is about 8 grand per month that they're paying him. So multiply 40 by 8, and that give you an idea of how much money Ken is making in his little Facebook ad business for the skyscraping market, right? So the thing with Ken, and the reason why I talk about the offer in front, Ken always has, in his business, his goal is to have a deal flow of $700,000 worth of offers out into the market at any time. Because he knows that if he's got $700,000 in offers out into the market, that he will close 80 to 100 grand in that month in sales. So I'm going to say that again. He's got a deal flow of $700,000 cash that he could collect, that he could go after, that is open to him every single month. If he has that on average, he knows that he will close between 80 and 100 grand in sales a month. He knows that for a fact. So he's always got, one of his goals is to make sure he has enough deal flow so there's always enough cash flow to collect in terms of sales. So if people don't have a money offer in front of them to buy from you, they can't. They can't. And this is why you've got to get into that conversation of building a momentum of deals. You know, you're going to meet somebody who does this really well very shortly. So struggling to help people buy what you have. People struggle with, helping people to buy what they have. In fact, a lot of people are in the sales prevention department, not the sales making department. Right? They don't help themselves. I was talking to somebody the other day and they said, yeah, I've got a couple of deals. And I said, great. When did you do the presentations? 2 weeks ago. Have you followed up? I've sent an email. I said, dude, pick up the fucking phone and call the guy and ask him if he wants to do the business. Because 2 weeks have gone by and the person's forgotten everything that you said. That's another t-shirt I like to print. It's called Pick Up the Fucking Phone. Right? If you've got money sitting on the table, call people and say hi. Don't send them an email. Because emails get lost. They don't get engaged, right? So you want to engage. If you're struggling to help people to buy, there is something that you're doing that is in the sales prevention department. There is something either you're sharing that you may not be articulating in a way that is useful or helpful. Oftentimes, you're not even asking or opening up for the opportunity to deal. You think you might be, but you might be getting a verbal yes, but not an actual yes in the process. So these are the things that can hold you up. No clear offer. You've got too many things in the list to offer, too many services, and you don't know which one to lead with. You want to lead with one offer, and that offer needs to be a converting offer. One of the things that we talk about, and when I'm coaching, is we talk about a converting, like what is the leading converting offer that you can put to the market, or a foot in the door where people pay you a little bit of money, become a client, and then they'll expand their investment at a much higher level. One of the guys I work with, Joel, he had a foot in the door offer of doing an audit. He would sell prepaid strategy for $400, for $500. He would find a person on Upwork to do the report for him for $50. So we'd pocket $450 to do the pitch. And then 75% of the people that would go through the presentation from the audit with him will upsell into a $18,000 or a $25,000 SEO deal. So he would sell 3 to 5 $500 prepaid strategy sessions, and he would close between 2 and 3 $20,000 deals a month. And he would do this for 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. In 9 months, he essentially built $1 million business in 9 months, right? 9 months. And the niche was in the safety niche, in the fire safety niche, right? So imagine going from zero to $1 million cash, like $84,000 a month in recurring revenue in 9 months with 2 hours a day of just selling prepaid strategy for $500 and then upselling people into a 20 grand, 25 grand deal, right? So no clear offer, hard to make money, right? Working on things that will not put money in your business. Watching videos on how to set up Go High Level will not put money in your business. Watching YouTube videos of people telling you that you can make appointments really easy if you buy my $10,000 appointment setting system isn't helping you make sales, right? Spending time learning how to do cold email when you should just be writing emails and testing isn't going to help you make sales, right? Most people are working on the wrong things, and that's why they're not making any money. Not using a CRM to manage sales opportunities. All of you should be using Go High Level to manage all your sales opportunities right now. All of you should be doing that. If you're not, start doing that. Start putting all your leads, start setting up all your processes in Go High Level for your business, right? So you need to use CRM. CRM will keep you honest. It'll flag you for sales. You'll create a conversation stream. You're going to be focused on the very thing that is going to drive the lifeblood of your business, all right? So not following up effectively. Most people don't. My thing with follow-up is I'm going to show you how you don't need to follow up. I'm going to show you how you're going to close a deal every time on the sale, right? I'm going to share that with you today. But if you are in a situation where the person has to be followed up, then what you want to do is you want to make that follow-up within 24 hours or no longer than 72 hours. And you need to control when you follow up with that person. So at the end of your presentation, say, hey, I need to think about it. What you want to do is say, hey, look, before you go, I just want to make sure that we've answered all your questions effectively. Are you okay with the objective that you set? Yes. The reasons why you want that outcome is for these reasons. Is that right? Yes. Is there anything else you want to add to that? No, that's what I want. Great. You're happy with what we've put together as a program for you to solve that problem? Yes. Do you have any questions about that? No. And then you say, great. So are you okay with the investment, with the money, the program is set out, the one that you chose? Yes. Great. So what do you think we should do? And you will find that they'll step into buying. They won't go away and think about it. Or if they'll go, great, I'm one of these guys that doesn't like to jump. I need to make a decision. Okay, I'm really happy. I just want to make sure that we're clear with why you want to do this. What I'm going to do is I've got 9 o'clock tomorrow or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Which time suits you best on your calendar? Can you open your calendar up for me? And I'll open their calendar up and they'll go, oh, I could do 2 o'clock. Great. I'm going to send you a 2 o'clock confirmation right now from my calendar. Have you got it in your email? Can you open that for me? Can you accept that? Thank you. I'll see you at 2 o'clock. Right? If you say, oh, we'll just call you tomorrow and they're not around, right? Then you've lost the opportunity. But now they know as a professional, you have locked in the follow-up. So tomorrow I'll answer questions. And if you're in a situation where you are getting I need to think about it, right? Then what you want to do is you want to send a quick email or a quick Loom video saying, hey, here are the key points that you liked about our program. Here's what we've discussed, and here's how we're going to help you move forward on that. I'm looking forward to helping you get started tomorrow. That's the message you will send out to them if you have to follow up, right? Then when you follow them up, and if you've done a Loom video, you'll see that I watched the Loom video, so you know they've watched it. Then you follow them up and say, hey, super cool. Tell me, what did you like about our program? That's the question you're going to ask. Well, I like this and I like that. And so what questions have you got? And they've got questions, right? So you're going to answer those questions. And that's how you close most of the deals. Not following up effectively, leaving a follow-up a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month is insane, right? Most people forget what you've told them within 48 hours. They've lost more than 70% of what you've discussed. So how are they going to make a conscious decision on whether or not you're the right person after 3 days? It's impossible, right? So you're diminishing. So after 3 days, guess what you've got to do? You've got to go back and resell what you do. You've got to go back and resell what you do from the beginning so that they are reconnected with why they agreed to talk to you in the first place, right? So I just want to say one thing also, and just to give you perspective. If somebody has agreed to do a sales presentation with you, right, where they're going to make a decision on money, if they've agreed to that, 80% of their decision has already been made. They wouldn't waste 1 hour of their time looking at what you have to offer if they weren't interested in it. So the 20% in that conversation that you have with those prospects is you either helping them buy or you preventing them from buying. That 20% is you. When somebody shows up, if I'm in a sales situation and somebody shows up to the sale, I'm right up front with them. I'm saying, why are you here? You're here to look at what we've got to offer to get started, aren't you? Yes. So let me be very clear. At the end of this, I'm going to ask you if this is the right thing for you that we can get started. You cool? And they're going to go, yeah. Because they just need to know the 20% that they don't have to be able to move forward with you. Anybody investing an hour of their life with you to be pitched at is a buyer, right? If you are spending time, an hour with somebody, and they're not interested, as long as they're qualified, right? You've qualified them, decision maker, money, all that sort of stuff, and they're not the right person, well, they've got time to waste, but that's your fault, not theirs, right? You haven't qualified, right? So understand, I want you to have that in mind. When somebody agrees to do a sales presentation with you, pretty much 75 to 80%, they're interested. They're just looking for that 20%, which is you confirming to them that they are making the right decision. That's all you're doing, right? So that's the philosophy you want to take. So person who makes a sale is the one who cares most about the person's outcome, right? Interesting statement. The person who makes the most sales is the one who cares the most about the person's outcome, right? So if you care about helping people and you show that, you demonstrate that you care, you're going to make sales, right? I want to help you get to where you want to go to. You want to be there. You're on their side of the table, not on the opposite side of the table. We're working together and collaborating, moving to the outcome you're looking for, right? You are the advisor. You are not the salesperson, right? Getting the prospect to be real with you is key. I want to get really real. Why is this really important? What are you struggling with in relation to how this may or may not work with you? You want to get real with them. You want them to be real with you, right? The only way they're going to be real with you is if you're upfront with them, right? You have to care about their agenda more than they do, right? The reason why here is I want to get your outcome. I will live and breathe and bleed to make sure that you win. That's why we're going to work together, right? So you're going to have that level of conviction in what you're offering. You have to own it. Remember I talked about yesterday? You have to own what you do. This is what will sell it for you. Not the thing, but your absolute belief in the fact that you can make a difference to the people you serve. That's the goal, right? You have absolute belief in helping them. I just said that. You have their best interests at heart. Sales is just coaching with an outcome over a defined period. That's essentially what sales is. My favorite saying about sales, I believe that you're helping people out. If you're helping people out, then if they find themselves in the right place, they'll want to buy from you. If you're trying to enforce something or manipulate or try to maneuver them in any way, that's not helping people out. People know what they want, and they know if they see good value, they'll just buy it, right? They'll just buy it. So it's a very different philosophy. For me, I believe that you are helping, you are not doing something to people, right? Problem with the sales process. Here's what happens with the sales process. The initial call to see if they're interested, right? You want to say, hey, you're interested in doing this? And they go, yeah. And then you set up a discovery call, a fact find, a needs analysis. So some people call their discovery call a strategy session. Hey, let's do a strategy session and figure out what's going on, right? I'm going to show you some of the things we do and some of the issues, and then I'll come away and I'll put together a presentation and deliver the presentation to you or a proposal next call. You create a proposal. Generally, it would take, the average person in our world spends 2 to 4 hours creating a proposal. That is insanity, right? Especially if you're doing if you do 10 free strategy sessions and you've now spent 40 hours doing proposals with no guarantee of winning the work. That's insane. That is insane. That's why I like to charge rather than give it away for free, right? So you create a proposal, hours of work involved. You send the proposal, email, snail mail, you get it in front of them, right? Or you get to present it. And then what you do is you might follow up in 2 or 3 days' time. And you might follow up with an email, or you might follow up on the phone. You might be a bit brave and go, hey, just touching base. And then they say, hey, I need more time to think about it. 4 to 6 days have passed now. And I need another 4 to 6 days to think about it. Great. So you're going to call at the end of the week or the end of next week, right? Haven't had a discussion with the decision makers. It's 10 days now, right? Haven't had the chance to talk to the guys about this. It's 10 days later, right? Now, even worse, you get ghosted, never to be heard from again. Email broken, phone switched off, no more text chat, gone. A month goes by, right? I'm just going to stop here for one moment. How many people, just type 5, how many people have experienced this scenario? Right? Look at this, everybody, right? This has to stop. This is not how you learn. This is how you get destroyed. This is how you start hating what you do, right? Because it's not working for you in this way. You're in this game because you want to help people out, you know? And by allowing this to occur, there's a couple of reasons. One, you've allowed time to elapse. Right? I'm going to put my hand up here because this has been me too, but I'm going to put my hand up for another reason. I'm going to hold my hand up here. Has anybody here, you've talked to somebody, they're really excited, they're really excited to get going with you, you send a proposal and they made an offer, they say, hey, we really want to do this, and then you never got back to them. Anybody do that? Just put your hand up. Just type 1 if that's ever happened. Like they got excited, you're in the thing, you sent the proposal and blah, blah, blah. Whatever happens, a day goes by, a week goes by, a month goes by, you go, oh shit. And you're so embarrassed. You're so embarrassed that you won't go. How many have done that? We've got lots of ones. Yeah. You know that if you were using your CRM, that wouldn't happen. If you're using your CRM, you would not lose that deal, right? There's a reason why that occurs, is you're not focused on making sure you get the job done. You get distracted or you're allowing other things to creep in, and a day, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5 goes by. And you basically have negated the very thing you're in business for by not helping these people. And they were wanting to give you money, the thing that you need help with, cash, right? So I'm putting my hand up because I've been in that situation. That has happened to me. I've done that, dropped the ball, right? With real money, you know, like in some cases it's cost me $50,000, $60,000. For my stupidity of not just getting to it. And the reason why is because you're not living in your CRM. That stuff lives in your CRM. You should be seeing that every day. So that never happens to you. Yeah. Literally the deal I closed today after sending a message during the training last night. Tom, congratulations, dude. Well done. Yeah. So understand that this is just a mindset thing. It's life. It happens. But if you're in business, you should have processes and especially just basically a CRM that won't allow that to occur. I have my salespeople. I can see my salespeople's calendars and see my salespeople's follow-ups and all that sort of stuff. I get a report every morning. It takes me about 30 seconds to scan it. I know how many deals they're following up. I know how many calls they're making. I know how much money is in those deals. I can see that in an instant because of the CRM, right? So you should never lose any deals. That should not happen. But I know embarrassingly that's happened to me. And I know that's happened to a lot of you here as well. So try not to do that, right? Try not to do that. But the only way you'll not have that happen is focus on the things that are going to matter and work. Yeah. So here we go. Let's get back to my presentation here. And yeah, all right. So very quickly. So problem with the process, right? Set up discovery, and this is what occurs. We end up losing a deal, right? What you want to do is think about when you've won a deal, you want to reverse engineer how you got the deal. What I mean by that is you want to start with the end and work your way back to the beginning, right? What most people do is start at the beginning and work their way to the end. And the reason why you want to start at the end is because oftentimes there are certain things you did, certain messages, there's certain things that you said, there's certain parts of the process. In our sales process, from end to end, to bring on a client that's going to spend 60,000 plus in our services, there are 28 steps in our sales process. Now, if we work from front to end, there would only be 11 steps. That means that we would miss nearly 18 steps. There are 28 steps in our sales process from the beginning of the relationship all the way through to the sale, to somebody actually being onboarded. That's where we count the sale from. So the money's been banked, the agreement's signed, messages have gone out, calls have been made, presentations done, information delivered, touching base all the way to text messages right at the beginning, 28 steps. When we follow the 28 steps, 80% of the time we get a sale. When we don't follow the 28 steps, 80% of the time we don't get a sale, right? So reverse engineer what works and then keep doing that. That's how you're going to improve. That's how you get consistency. That's how you win the game, right? The market, most value you can create for the market. That's important. The pain that you're solving. Is the market growing? You want to work with growing businesses, not ungrowing businesses. How do you find out if a business is growing? It's really simple. First of all, look for the trends in the markets that are actually going up at the moment, and then start talking to businesses, and they'll sit and say, yeah, we're really busy, or we're so busy we can't chase our tails. They're the people you want to work with. They're really easy to find. You want to find markets easy to find, associations, networks, channel partners, total available market, right? That's where you're looking. And do they have the money? And the best way to determine if they have the money is, are they already spending the money? Are they spending money on marketing? They're the people you want to chase. Don't chase people who are not spending money on marketing, because they're not going to value what you do. You want to talk to people who value what you do. That's what you want to do in the marketplace, right? So I'm going to just very quickly stop here because I'm mindful of somebody's time. Crystal, can you do me the kindness for a moment? Hey, Crystal.
Yeah, I'm here.
Everybody, this is Crystal Benson. She started her business 2 months ago. She sells Go High Level and lead gen for her clients. What is the average client paying you, Crystal, from day one?
Average client's been paying me $5,000 from day one.
A month?
A month, yeah, and plus setup fees and all the rest, yeah.
And roughly
Plus the commission of their sales.
Plus commission as well. So $5,000 for Go High Level setup, $5,000 a month for the sales, and plus commission on sales made through the system. I know you've got a beautiful young baby daughter that you're managing. You're a single parent, working really, really hard. Can you over the last couple of days, a lot of crazy things have been happening. Do you mind sharing kind of some of the results that you've been achieving by some of the things that you've been working on?
Yeah, so this morning at 6 a.m. I got up. Yesterday I had closed a deal for $20,000 a month retainer for for the lead gen, the B2B lead gen. Mm-hmm. And 20% stake in the company for overall revenue. The company's already doing over $1 million in profit a year. So, and
you closed the deal yesterday in 20 minutes. How did you close the deal in 20 minutes?
Yeah, so once you start speaking to people, other people start talking about you. He called me up while I was at playgroup with my kid, and pretty much pitched him what I do and what I can do with the B2B leads, what's possible. Had a bit of an idea in my head, like what the PDF that John sort of shares with us. I remembered a little bit about that and just spoke about it completely ad hoc. And closed him on the call. So lucky I had my laptop in my backpack, closed him on the call, a 20-minute call at playgroup with my kid.
And so this was it was what, $5,000 down, $5,000 a month?
Yep. And $5,000 a setup fee.
And a $5,000 setup fee. Yeah. And what was the line that you gave the guy, the big deal that you closed? Because you got a big deal where there's a $15,000 deposit plus a whole bunch. What was the line that you used that we talked about?
Yeah, so at the different deal that should be closing today, it's $15,000 a month, $15,000 setup fee, plus another $35,000 setup fee. And I said, after I went through everything that John teaches, I literally just copy what he says, guys, as well. I just do what he says. I was like, you're either in or you're going to try and compete with me. Which would you like to do? And they're like, we're in.
So you're either going to buy this deal or you want to compete against me, right? This deal is going to go to your competitor and you're going to compete against it, right? Isn't that interesting? And they just went, yes.
They're in.
They're in, right? So the reason why I want to bring Crystal on is just a couple of things. One, the price points for setting up GHL and the lead gen is way beyond what most people are thinking in terms of price point. Crystal's only been in business for 2 months. You're now you'll be hitting a 50K run rate by now.
I'm at 40K closed, like done deals, retainer plus commission, and I've got another 36K a month with green lights. I just haven't got the contracts or deposits back yet.
So 2 months in business, right? Already hitting a 40K per month run rate. All Crystal is doing is engaging the market, making the offers the way I'm teaching her to make offers, and then literally helping people buy. And I know, Crystal, you work really, really hard. I know you're up late last night rocking the deals, but in the middle of all this, you're looking after a beautiful baby girl who's trying to make her way in the world. You've got all the weight on your shoulders and you're just crushing it. I mean, If there was something that you were encouraging others to think about in terms of their business, what would you say?
Like in terms of like, if you're looking at doing a marketing company, like John is an absolute wealth of knowledge, and he literally gives you everything you need to succeed. He does. Like I've done this. I can really take only half the credit because John has given me everything to be able to do this. So
Thanks.
yeah, if you're
I'm
thinking
talking about me, Crystal. I'm talking about you. If you're talking, I appreciate that, and thank you for saying that. But I'm talking about if you've started this journey fairly early. You've got some big reasons. Like you've got a little baby girl. That's a really big reason to do really well, and you've got some aspirations for yourself to do really well in your life. But not everybody is crushing $20,000 deals and $40,000 deals. But in your mind, what do you believe are the important things from your perspective to be able to achieve those sorts of things?
It's just like knowing who you want to serve, having a clear goal, and like having some perseverance, because people are going to say no. A lot of people are going to say no, and it's just about having your numbers, speaking to people every day. Keep telling people what you do. And I've got, people coming back now, getting referred to me just because I've had conversations. I got people leaving me 5-star reviews after a strategy session, guys. So just a shift in your mindset. Like, do not sell Go High Level for $297, please. Like, don't do that.
Okay. Crystal, thank you. I know you've got a time frame, but I really appreciate you sharing. My heart is always going out to you because you are an inspiration. You're doing incredible things. I don't know how you're doing this. I don't know how you're sleeping with the amount of stuff that you're putting on your plate, but I appreciate you sharing. I know others will pick up a few things out of this as well. But thanks for hopping on. And I know there's some big deals being signed tomorrow. So congratulations.
Today for me.
Thank you. So. Thank you. I just wanted to share that just so you know that there are people who are selling Go High Level at more than $297 a month, right? You heard the numbers, $20,000, $35,000 onboarding, right? Think about the levels of the layers of helping people to implement those types of strategies in their business. I've always been a big believer of truly understanding your value deliver. I was very fortunate in my younger years to work for probably one of the largest consulting firms in the world. That was where I cut my teeth. I worked for McKinsey. They were not backward in coming forward in charging for business, right? Like to do a strategy session with McKinsey, it was a 50 grand deal to have the conversation. Anytime you spent 50 grand with McKinsey, you're in for another $4 million with that company. So they were not backward in charging for the value that they brought to their clients. And I was very lucky that I learned from them that you've got to understand the value proposition of what you're actually delivering as to marrying that up with what a person is seeing from you as well. So this is why this whole a complex software system for $297 just doesn't make any sense, right? But this is the thing, yeah? So at the end of the day, where we focus our attention and what we're doing, that's what's going to create the opportunity for us. Let's get back into some sales stuff. Thank you for those congratulating Crystal. She deserves all the accolades. Let me tell you, she's one of the hardest working people I know. And she's just an amazing, amazing person in my world. So thank you so much, Crystal. Let's get back to the presentation. Very quickly. Do this or your sale will die. There are 3 questions you have to answer in your customer's mind in any sales situation. You want to kind of do this early rather than later, right? And let me explain why. Oftentimes when you're in a situation, when you're in a sales situation, the customer's sort of, sometimes thinking about things like, why should I be doing this thing? Why should I be doing Facebook ads? Or why should I be doing this automation thing? Right? And if they ask the question in their head and they don't verbalize it, you've lost the sale, right? So I want you to catch this early, right? I oftentimes do this right up front. Why do you want to do this, right? Tell me why you want to do it with me. Tell me why it's important for you to do it now. And what they're doing is they're selling themselves on why they're there, right? But if you don't answer these questions verbally, allow them to answer the questions openly with you, then if they're answering them in their heads, your sale is gone. If they ask you these questions, now what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to sell them. Why sales automation? So I'm not sure why we should be doing sales automation right now. As soon as they ask that question verbally, you now have to respond, which means now you have to sell the reason why they're doing sales automation, right? You're having to convince them that this is the right decision to make. As soon as you get into that mode, then it goes into talking mode rather than listening mode, right? Why me? Why did you choose to sit down with me? And not, so I often ask people, why did you come to me? And say, well, somebody referred you, or I liked the video that you did, or I saw something. So what's happening is they're selling themselves on you, right? Or, you've been really professional. It's amazing. I don't normally answer or respond to this type of marketing, and you got me here, so I'm really intrigued, right? So they're giving you all the reasons why they like you, right? Or why they're there. So why have you chosen to sit down with me? That's the question, right? And then why now? Why is it important for you to do this right now? And they're going to go, well, what we've been doing in the past isn't working. We know we need to add to what we're doing to improve. We're looking for new ideas as part of this. So what they're doing is they're convincing themselves as to why they need to be doing your thing, even though they haven't gone through your entire presentation, right? So always ask right up front. So, hey, so why are you interested in doing this thing right now? And why have you chosen to talk to me about it? What got you to talk to me about it? And then they'll tell you, oh, you were very professional, or I saw this, or I read your email, or, they'll, in their mind, what you're getting them to do is selling themselves on you. So you don't have to do any selling here. They're selling themselves. It's a very simple process. But here's the thing. If they openly ask you the question, why should I work with your agency instead of going to another agency? You're a dead dog. Because now you have to you don't know who they're going to, right? You can't compare yourself to anybody. You don't know who you're competing against, so you can't say anything, right? Now you're having to convince them as to why they're choosing you, right? So you're now going into selling mode rather than helping mode. So this is a really, really important thing. I normally try to do this early up. So what made you jump on the call, right? And then they go, this is why I'm here. Great. Why have you chosen to have a chat with me about this? And like, well, you've been professional, and so why do you need to do this thing now? What spurred on the idea that you need to be doing this now? And then they're going to say, well, the reason we need to do this now is for all these reasons. And when they're answering these questions, you want to write notes, you want to listen, because you can go back to and say, remember we talked about why you're doing this now. Here's what you said. Has anything changed? Or would you like to add to that, right? So you're in that conversational type process. But you need to answer these questions. If you don't, this is where a sale goes pear-shaped. Right? So let's get to the point. The initial call is to see if they are a fit and they're interested in what you have to offer. You want to set up a discovery, not a strategy session. I don't like the word strategy session. I think what most people are actually doing is they're asking questions. This is not to say that you can't do a one-call close. You can, as long as they've got context. So if I know they're there for the right reasons, I know that they're really interested, I know all that, then I can go through the demonstration and then I can ask them to buy, right? But if I don't know that, if I'm not doing that, then doing a one-call close isn't really going to work. So I generally say, hey, I just want to get to know and get really clear and very specific so that we can give you an exact plan to help you to bridge the gap from where you are to where you want to be. Is that cool? And they go, absolutely. So now this is their plan, not your plan, right? You want to create a presentation. 85% of your current presentation should be already done. We use a thing in our coaching. We call it the Mr. Padlock deck. The Mr. Padlock deck, 85% gives you your pitch deck. The only 10, 15% you've got to change are your client's objectives and numbers. But everything else stays the same. So you don't have to spend hours doing the same thing over and over again. Your proposals, 75 to 80% of your proposals should already be written for the offers you are making, right? Already done. If you've got 3 offers, you've got 3 proposals already ready to go. You should be able to give a client an agreement at the time of your sales presentation. Not let me send you that, right? Hey, let's go through that together. We, some of you who will join me, but some of you, some of my people here, last week I showed them how we sign people up on the agreement on the spot in the call. They don't go away. They go, yeah, let's walk through how we're going to do this. And we literally walk them through the agreement and they sign the contract, right? Electronically on the spot. And then they pay the money, just like Crystal did. She followed the process. Say, look, I've got the agreement here. Let me walk you through that. And the person worked through that. Great. You're okay with that? Good. I just need the initial installment. You good to go? Yes. What credit card do you want to put that on? And Crystal closes a deal in 20 minutes for $60,000, right? That's how this works. Yeah. So you create a presentation. You need the objective, the desire, what the issue is, what's stopping them. What is the solution you're providing that's going to give them the transformation? What your offer is, engage them to start, and then deliver what you do. That's essentially your process, right? So why are they there? What's the real reason they want the improvement for? Why is that improvement really important, right? What's stopping you? Like what's not happening, right? Well, if we can fix that with us, together and bridge the gap, then here's how we're going to do it together. Are you cool with that? They're going to say, yeah, I'm cool with that. Or, hey, I've got more questions, right? And then they're going to engage you. You're going to start and get paid. That's the process, right? Qualify and call script. So you want to qualify people. I always have a simple structure. This is a script that we use. A little bit of rapport building. How was your weekend? Blah, blah. I don't spend too much time rapport building. I'm just saying, hey, thanks for that. Hope you had an awesome day. Was your day good? Okay. Yeah, it was okay. Did you have a good weekend? Yeah, I had a pretty good weekend. Right, great. So you want to set the rules. This call is going to be exactly 10 minutes to ensure that we leave with 100% clarity. We're going to be moving fairly quickly. I have a specific set of questions to ask you to ensure that we will achieve the outcome for our call, right? Our outcome, there's 2 outcomes for this session. 1, to identify the exact steps that you need to achieve the goal that you want. Or number 2, decide if we can help you get there faster. Do you agree? Yes or no, right? So then you go, great, why this call? Why did you agree to the call? Why us? Why is it important to achieve the result, right? Why us? Why this? Why now, right? So it's a really simple process. Feel free to take a snapshot if you want to take a snapshot. But you know, if I, like a lot of people sit there and say, I don't know what to say. Well, you can have a list of questions sitting in front of you and say, hey, I just want to be super clear so I don't forget anything. I've actually got a list of questions. Do you mind if I read them out to you and we can go through them together? Are you okay with that? And they're going to go, sure, right? Because you're saying, I don't want you to miss out on anything and I don't want to miss anything here. So to be able to help you, do you mind if I read them out to you? And then you can just literally read the questions and write the answers down on the presentation, right? Very, very simple. So it's just a framework that works really well to be very clear about your objective. This also makes you very professional. Because you're saying, hey, we're going to move fairly quickly. We've got this allocated time, right? So then, anybody see the popular show Shark Tank? Pitch, offer, engage. So when you go to Shark Tank, generally the pitch is about 2 minutes long, 2 to 3 minutes long. And then the sharks ask a few questions, and within 5 minutes, they are making an offer. That offer could be for hundreds of thousands of dollars for a piece of your business to invest in your business. They don't sit there and say, hey, look, I just need to think about it, blah, blah. They're either in the game or they're out of the game. The decision is made on 2 things. The first decision is made, what they make is, and they've said this many times. I've heard them say this. I mean, Robert and Damon John, I've heard say this. If I look at all the people, all the businesses that I've invested on Shark Tank, my number one thing is I like the person that I'm investing in. If you look at Barbara says, I invest in the people first. If I like the people, right, that's my first indicator. The second thing is that they know their numbers. If they know their sales numbers, their profit numbers, their revenue or projected revenues, they understand their costings and all that sort of stuff, then they're pretty assured of getting an offer. But the people who are unsure about the numbers or don't know how to articulate the numbers or fluff the numbers, they tend to lose deals. Those 2 things will hinge on them making an offer. Either all the sharks will offer it, or one of them will see the opportunity and go, I like you, and I think I can make those numbers better. Right? So, but the decision is made there and then. It's not, let's have this conversation and really think about it and blah, blah, right? It's demonstrated to you in moments, right? And this is why people who are very sure or confident, they can see it. They know what works. And now, has every deal in Shark Tank been a winner? No, but there are a lot of them that have, right? So eliminating objections. This is a really big one. A lot of people get caught up in the whole eliminating the objection piece. Right. So right up front, I like to get rid of this right up front. Right. So my objection questions, clear objective. I want to be super clear that you know what you're asking for. That is the first thing that I'm asking people about what's going on. Why are we here? What do you want out of this? What are you hoping to achieve out of this process? Right. And then you'll notice here I've said, what do they really, 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 really want? That's 4 reallys. The more certain you are about the objective, the easier it is for you to come up with a solution to help them with the outcome, right? So that's number 1. Number 2, decision maker, right? Are we talking to the right person who's going to okay paying you? So oftentimes I ask this question, say, how long have you been running the company for? And they'll go, oh, no, I haven't run the company. I'm a marketing director, or I'm a blah, blah, blah. Oh, who's the person that's run the company, that founded the company? Oh, that's Bob. And so what I'm going to say is, hey, you know what? Obviously, Bob is going to be the person you're deferring to, or Mary is going to be the person you're deferring to. Look, to be fair to Mary and to Bob, right, it would be really important that they are in on the presentation. So they are given the opportunity to professionally ask their questions or have their questions answered so they can make a decision on whether or not this is the right move. Do you agree? And they'll go, yes. Great. Let's get Mary and Bob in the room. I will never do a presentation if I find out that I'm talking to the wrong person. I want to make sure I'm talking to a decision maker, not somebody who works for a decision maker. So this is how you clear that up. And one of my favorite ways of doing that is, when did you found the company and how long you've been running it for? And they go, oh, no, I don't run the company. Or then they tell you how long they've been founding, how long they run. So it's a really easy way for them to find out very quickly who the decision maker is. But I need the decision maker room. If I don't have a decision maker in the room, I'm not proposing. I'm not pitching. Now, I will change what I've just said for one scenario. The person who is a marketing director or a marketing director or a vice president of marketing or someone like that, who has a budget allocated. So my question would be, what's your budget allocation, or what can you okay? And some people say, I can okay up to $500,000, or I can okay up to $1 million, or I can okay up to $50,000. So if I know that they can make a decision on a certain revenue amount, and if my numbers fit that amount, then I know I'm good. But if they can't and they have to defer to somebody else, then I'm asking for the deferral. Understand the reason why you're doing this is your chances of making a sale are going to diminish if you're not talking to the decision maker. Because here's what happens when you're not talking to the decision maker. You've given all this information. The person says, yeah, I really love this. Now, you don't know the relationship between this person and the decision maker. They might hate each other, right? So then your sale's dead. Or the person who sees them as an underling, right? Saying, well, you're bringing something to me. Why are you bringing this to my attention? So you don't know the relationship. So you've got no control over that, right? The second thing is the person who's making a decision gets your proposal, and guess what page they go to? The last one. They flip through the other 7 pages that explain all the value of what you're doing and why you're doing it, the plan. They just go, how much is this going to cost us? And the first thing that they would say is what I would say, what else could we be spending the money on, or who else can do this cheaper? Those are the first things that I would say. Or my next question is, why are you bringing this to me? Why is this important? So all of a sudden it's about the money. So if you get in that scenario where you put the money on the last page, what you want to do is you want to sort of double cross them. What you do is you put the money on the first page, right? So when they go to the last page, they go, hey, how much is it going to cost us? So now they have to read the document. So right now for this project, we're assessing that you need to invest $50,000 in this project. Now, let me explain how we break that $50,000 down. So now they've got to read your proposal. So instead of putting the money at the end, you put it right up front, because they're going to bypass and go, oh, what's going on? Now I've got to read the document, right? I know it's a bit of a hacky way to get people to read, but it works, right? Your investment in this process is, and they go, okay, why is our investment this? They've got to now read the document that you've set out for them. So if you're going to put the money on the page to somebody who's not spoken to you, put the money on the front of the page, not on the back of the page, right? On the bottom of the page. So our partners, spouses, business partners, investors, the dog, the cat need to be in the room, right? Oftentimes, this is what killed us in our agency, where we would sit down and we would have a husband who was really excited, or we have a wife who really wants to make the practice grow or the business grow, and then the spouse is adversarial, right? So if the spouse is not in the room, dead sale. We used to make a time to say, hey, we're not going to do this presentation now, but can we get the spouse on the phone, or the husband and wife on the phone, or can we set a time very quickly? Can you just go and say, hey, can we get a time on our calendar so we can sync and have them there, so we can give them the priority or the option to be able to ask questions and make a value judgment in that way. Are you okay? And they go, yeah. We always want, if there's a partner or a hidden partner, we always want them in the room, right? This will help you close more sales, right? Why is your service important? You know, why automations? Why CRM? Why Facebook? Why, right? Ask them, why is this important to you, right? Because if it's not important, it becomes an objection. It has to be important, right? Next, why should I hire you? You know, one of my favorite lines, people say, well, how do I know if this works? Why should I hire you? So, well, how do you think you got here? The system that we sell you is the very system that got you in the room. So we know it works, right? But, you know, for example, if I was positioning my expertise, and let's say I had no case studies and I was first out, this is my first prospect. I'd say, look, we're using a platform right now that's being used by over 40,000 businesses, by 2 million people currently in the world who are using this platform to leverage automations and generate clients. That's what we do. It is literally generating hundreds of millions of dollars on a month-to-month basis, just utilizing this process and this system. That's who you're talking to, right? Use the positioning of your service or your support as the value proposition as to why they should be paying attention to you. Now, when you really get good at this, when you start bringing on clients, you start getting results, For example, in our agency, we got to a situation where we had 200 clients. We were generating 11,000 patient opportunities per month, and we were closing $7.5 million worth of patient revenue per month with our clients using our system. So the system you're using right here is responsible for 11,000 patient opportunities a month, 130,000 patient opportunities a year, and it's close to $70 million in plan of care. Do you have a system that's operating like that right now? No? Would you like to see how this works? Yes. Positioning, right? Why should I hire you? The knowledge base and the expertise, right? Why do we need to do it now, right? You want to scratch your ears. Well, okay, what's the loss? What's opportunity cost? What's the opportunity cost here? If we have a system right now that's inefficient, you're not managing leads in real time, you're not able to calculate, you can't track and measure, you don't even know what your cost of acquisition is, right? Your business is in the lap of the gods, right? So ultimately, what's that feel like? I mean, that's where you're at right now. And that's why we're having a conversation. They go, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So what if we were able to track the sales? What if we were able to engage them speed to lead in real time? What if we were able to follow up and automate the process? Tell me what you think is going to happen. Like, I don't have to say anything. They're going to say it. Well, we need those things. We need those things. We're not doing it right now. I can see that that's the stuff we actually need. So they're selling themselves. So there's no objection to, oh, why do we need to do this now, right? Are they able to handle the investment? I'm really clear up front. Say, look, most people we work with are spending between $5,000 and $8,000 a month. Can you handle that right now? Right up front, not hold the price, don't tell the price. We are right up front with the price. Say, look, our average client right now in our systems are spending $15,000 a month on our systems. Can you handle that budget right now? Now, if they say no, guess what? We're out. Because we know we're not going to sell them, right? Because the money becomes an issue, right? I don't need to convince them on anything. I'm just going to say the people who work with us, we select you, not the other way around. So the people we work with that we get the best possible results with, their investment range is between $5,000 and $8,000. Can you handle that? And if they say yes, well, great, you move forward. If they say, I need to check on that or no, then you don't need to waste your time, right? So are they ready to go right now? Right? So you need to establish that we need to push the button now, right? Because you don't want to be in a situation say, hey, this is all really cool. Can we kind of circle back on this in a month's time or 2 months' time? I would not even waste my time with a presentation. Because they're not going to buy. You can do the presentation and they're going to say, let's do this in a month's time. You've just wasted that time because in a month's time, they'll forget everything you've just said. So you don't want to get into that jam, right? Into that session, right? Killing the I need to think about it objection. If you do one thing here, if you just do this thing in every sale, I'll guarantee you that your close rate will be about 80%. And I'll explain, right? Some of you, you've already heard this or seen this, but if you're not doing this, right, this is a really surefire way to do two things. You are going to get a decision, which is what you want. You're going to openly get them to agree to make a decision, either way. Number two, it handles the issue of answering all their questions so that they are sure that they are able to move forward. That's what you do here. So you want to do this right up front. And this is what you say. So look, at the end of this might be at the end of the qualifying call. So I do this at the end of the qualifying call, and I do this at the beginning of the presentation, right? My pitch. So, hey, number one, can I ask you, when we present your plan, your program to help you with whatever result they want, if it's not the right fit for you and we have answered all your questions, are you confident enough to give me a definitive no at the end of this session? I'm going to say that again. Hey, look, can I just ask you, when we present that plan, the program to help you achieve the outcomes you're looking for, is it, if it's not right for you and we've answered all your questions, right, are you confident enough to give us a definitive no at the end of this presentation? And they're going to say yes, right? And here's what you say next, right? Great. Alternatively, if you like our plan and the solution and we've answered all your questions, is it okay if I walk you through how we get started on your program at the end of this presentation? Right? So great. Alternatively, if you like our plan and you like the program we put in front of you and we've answered all your questions, is it okay if I walk you through how we get started on your program at the end of the presentation? Remember what Crystal Benson said, 20 minutes, I closed the deal on the spot, collected the money. This is what she did to the person, right? And they would go, sure. And then what you want to do is you say this one thing. You have to anchor this, right, in their mind, right? This is what you say. You say, Thank you for making commitment. I just want to commend you for doing that. We find that the clients we work with that are decisive are the ones that get the best results and are awesome to work with. So thank you. So now you just told them they're decisive, right? They're going to be winners. And you just told them they get better results when they're winners. And you just told them they're awesome to work with, right? So what you're doing is you're anchoring the decision. So at the end of the presentation, if they sit there and say, I need to think about it, I'm going to say, hey, remember we asked you at the very beginning? We asked you that if we've answered all your questions and you see that this isn't a fit, that you are giving us a definitive no. I just want to make sure, is there a question that you need answered or need help with? And if I can just walk through this and just make sure that we're heading in the right direction. Are you okay with that? And they're going to go, yeah. So then you can say, great. When you said that your objective is you want to automate your sales, you want to improve your conversion rates, you want to make sure that you're following up the deals, has anything changed? No, that's what you want? Awesome, thank you. Now, the reason you said this was really important to you and why this was a must is because you wanted to improve your conversions, obviously build the value of the company, spend that money or invest that money on team, on product development, and buy that jet ski that you said you've always wanted, you've always promised yourself and never bought. Is that right? Has anything changed about why you need to do this? No? So let me just walk through the solution that we put together for you to bridge the gap. Right now, you don't have the automations. Now you do have the automations. And you said that this is what you're ultimately wanting. Do you have any questions about what we're delivering here? Are you okay with that? And they go, no, I'm good with that. Great. Now, you said we gave you a couple of options and you chose the option that you believed was the right choice for you, right? Has anything changed on that option? They go, no, it's pretty good. Might have been a little bit more than we had to pay, but I get that, to make that happen, I understand we've got to do that. Okay, great. So where do you think we should go to from here? And in that moment, you've just collapsed everything they said they wanted, right? And they go, well, how do we get started, right? That's how you get a decision at the end of every sale. You reaffirm what they wanted. You reaffirm why that's important. You reaffirm this is what we worked on together to get that result you're looking for. You reaffirm that they chose the investment, right? Because what you're going to do is you give them two options, option one, option two. Which do you believe suits you best? They're going to go option one or option two. So you decide upon option two. Let me ask you why you decided on option two. They're going to sell themselves on why they decided to pay you option two. Right? They go, well, the reason is because it provides this and that and this and that. Is there anything else that helps you with? Right? No, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Great. So what do you think we should do now? And they're going to go, okay, how do we get this started? Right? So by just doing this one little thing, it sets you up for a yes at the end of the presentation. It's not manipulative. You're not manipulating. You're just asking for saying, hey, if logic, common sense, if I've answered your questions and you know this is not right for you, are you okay giving me a definitive no? And they go, yeah, sure. Alternatively, if you like what we put together for you and you want to put it into play, is it okay if we get that started today? Are you good with that? Yep. Hey, I just want to say thank you for being committed to making a decision. We find that people that are decisive tend to get the best results, and they're the ones that are the most fun to work with. So I really appreciate that. Thank you. And that's all you got to do. This is the close of closes, right? So ask lots of questions. You want to be super clear about why they want to do this. That's why. This is their stuff. This is not your stuff. Most salespeople spend too much time talking and not enough time asking questions. The ratio should be 15 to 20% you asking questions and 80% them telling you why they want to buy this. That's how this works. What most people do the opposite. Let me demonstrate to you how fantastic we are and how fantastic the software is and how fantastic the integrations are and how fantastic all the stuff. They don't need to know that. They just need to know that this thing's going to do what it says it does, and that's it. They don't need to go into the how. What you need to go into is the what and the why. The how is what they're paying you for. They don't need to know. They're not techie people. That's why it goes over their head. So what you really want to establish is, why do you want to do this? And they're selling themselves, not you. They're telling you, I want a CRM because we don't have a really good one right now. Or Salesforce or HubSpot suck right now. Sorry, Salesforce and HubSpot, if you hear this. But here's the thing, right? And they go, that's suck right now. We're not using it properly. So we might as well work on a system that's actually going to work for us, right? Okay, that's what we're looking for. So you're looking for a system that's going to work. Okay, so if we make sure, we want to be super clear that that's what's going to happen, right? Why do you want to do this, right? Why do you want to do this is the next question. Why is this important to you? Why is this a must to you? Why is this as a hell yeah, right? Here's the reasons why we need to get this done. I'm serious now. We've been talking about this for a long time and it hasn't been working and we've made the wrong choices. We've spent some money, but I want to get it right now for these reasons. This is why it's important. Is there any other reason why it's important? So they're telling you, they're selling themselves on why they want to do this thing with you, right? The next thing is, what's the bottleneck? So if this is important and this is the objective, why isn't it happening right now? Oh, we don't have the people, the resources, the expertise, the knowledge, the understanding, all the reasons why it's not working. So you know now why you're not reaching the objective, right? And so now the next logical step is, right, let's make an offer they can't refuse. So why are we here? We'll let them off the hook, they can say no. But you eliminate the objections right up front. Why this, why me, why now, right? The objective, why, and the bottleneck. What are we trying to achieve? Why is this important and what's stopping you from achieving it, right? The demonstration, let me walk you through our solution on how we're going to help you achieve that, right? The case study, if you've got a case study. Now, if you don't have a case study, you can share a workflow. This is a workflow in action. This is what it would look like if we set all these processes up. You don't need a case study, right? You can just show a workflow, right? Then the client closes themselves. So here's what they do. Check in after the case study, right? Hey, are you all good? You understand the workflow? Do you have any questions about what we're talking about here? No, we're all good. Great. Then you say, where do you think we should go to from here? Right? This is the question you ask. So we've got the objective right. We've got the reason why we're doing it right. We've got the reason why it's not working. Now we've got the solution. Are you cool with that? You're going to quit? No, we're really good. Great. So what do you think you should do now? Right? And they're going to say, you're going to need to do this 4 or 5 times and you're going to have a sale every time. Right? So here's the thing. This is how it's going to work. So where do you think you should go from now? Well, you tell me. They might go, oh, I'm not sure. You tell me. And you go, great. Can I share how we work together? So now you're going to walk them through how we're going to work together. The team, the onboarding, the blah, blah, blah. This is how it starts, right? Great. So you got any questions about how we work together? No? You're all good? Good. Where do you think you should go to from here? And they're going to go, how much is it going to cost? Or what's the investment? Okay, great. Let me walk through that. Now, I often ask the question, look, if you're serious, I'm happy to share the investment. You serious about this idea? I'm really serious. Great, let's do that, right? You can do this in a jokey manner. You don't have to do this in this way. But then you go, great, here's your investment. Here's how we get the ROI. Here's how we get you moving in the direction you want to move, right? We're going to give you option 1 and option 2. Never give people one option. Don't give them a yes or a no. If you give them a yes or a no, then they've got the option to say no. What you want to do is say, look, option number 1, this is the basic process that we need to start with, or here's some systems we can play. But if you want the enchilada, the thing working on steroids, then we've got option number 2 here. Of these 2 options, most of the people we work with us on option number 1, just like you, or some people, like I said, really want to go for it and they want to put this on steroids and take the bigger package. Based on what we've discussed and based on where you're at, which do you believe is the option you should be taking up? So now you're not saying, here's my offer. You're saying, you're telling me which one you want, not you telling them the one you are recommending, right? What you're saying to them, so most of the people we work with, this is the one they choose. But some people we work with really want to get some amazing results and they choose this one over here. Based on what we've talked about here and based on the objective, which do you believe is the one that suits you best? So they have to answer yes or yes. There is no, right? If you said, here's the deal, what do you think? They're going to go, well, too expensive, or I'm not sure if they're like, some people go, okay, yeah, but you're on a 50-50, right? You don't want to leave a 50-50 door open. You always want to give people an option. You either take at this level or take at this level, right? Same thing with payment. If at the end of the payment, you've got somebody agreeing with you, you give them 2 options to pay. You say, hey, and like, we've got one of the guys, Tim, who's in our coaching. He just closed a $30,000 onboarding fee for Go High Level, right? And here's how we got all the money up front. All right, this is what I teach the people I work with. We sit and say, look, you've got a couple of options here. Normally, when we work with people, some people just want to take care of the bill. If you want to take care of the whole thing up front, you can save 10% and you can buy the whole thing up front. Or if you like the payment plan option, you can take our payment plan option. Which suits you best? And let me tell you, when you offer an upfront payment, some people will take it. Cam, one of our guys, I don't know if Cam's here, one of the guys, Cam, closed a $120,000 SEO deal and got paid up front. 120 grand because he made that offer. They said, yeah, okay, we'll just take care of it. Boom, done, right? If you don't offer it, they can't buy it. So you can get all the money for an entire year all the way up front, right, in the deal. So it's not uncommon to do that, right? So Here's your investment. Here's how we get the ROI. Now, where do you think we should go to from here? And they're going to go, how do we get started? Great. Let me walk you through, right? So what you do now is you're going to walk them through an agreement. What I teach people that I work with is say, hey, you want to have your agreement ready. Yesterday in our training, we did some advanced training earlier this week, and I walked them through an agreement, a contract we have, where 80% of the people that we sign up literally look at the document, sign, pay the money, and are on board. We don't have to send them an agreement. We don't have to send them an invoice. They pay on the spot, right? So now that they've agreed to buy, well, let's help them buy, right? Right. Let me walk you through what we're including in this product, right? You've got a document, I've got a document. Let me walk you through the agreement. And we just walk through together. Now, you've said that you want to pay for the thing up front, or you want to take the time payment. These are the terms and conditions of the payment. Do you agree? Yep, just sign there, electronic, great. And so, great. Well, I'm super excited. I'm going to sign the document here. All I need is your acceptance. Are you okay to go ahead with this? And they go, yeah. And they sign it on the spot, just like Crystal did yesterday, right? And then, right, let's take care of the initial investment to get you started. What's the best frequent flyer card that you get the most points out of, and use that one, right? And then you take the number down and you get paid. You're not going to invoice them to wait to get paid. You can take the payment on the phone, right? You can take payment on the phone. Or in the agreement, you can have a link and say, great, you sign a document. Now, if you press that link, it's going to open up the thing. Can you just fill in your credit card details, hit submit? Now, when you set this up, it's pretty easy. They're automatically invoiced once the money's paid. Hey, thanks for doing that. This is awesome, right? So what's the best credit card for you to get the most rewards points? I'll email you an invoice after our call, and you have an agreement. Can I ask you, before we get our team to begin your implementation, is there anything that would change your mind on implementing your plan? So right at the very end, say, hey, I just want to be super sure about this. Can I ask you, before we get our team to begin your implementation of this, is there anything that you would change your mind on implementing your plan? And most people are happy because they just paid money. They're going to go, no, I'm in. This is exactly what I want. I'm super excited about it, right? So then this is the beginning of a beautiful relationship between you and a client. But it doesn't stop there. You are going to continue selling your client all the way through your relationship with that client. They want to know they've bought into the right person, the right business, the right support, right? They want to own that. And so you're going to be selling them and upselling them and doing all these things like a professional company should. What most people do is they get the sale and they drop the ball by not creating an experience, a customer experience where the customer stays. The average churn in our marketplace is 3 months. The reason why the average churn in our marketplace is 3 months is because we tell them they can leave after 90 days. If you're telling people, let's do this for 30 days as a trial, well, guess what? At 30 days, your client's going to churn in most cases. If you say 90 days, they're going to go 90 days, they're going to churn. We don't do 90 days, 30 days. We do 3 years. Hey, we're going to be working together on this business development program for the next 3 years. That's what they're signing up for, not 3 months, not 6 months. Who would love to sign up a client for 3 years at a premium of $5,000 a month? That's a $180,000 client. We do that about 28% of the time we talk to people in our market, right? So after they do this, you send them this, right? I'm just going to press play here.
Hey there, Mary. I just want to say thank you for coming on board. I'm super excited, and our team is going to be super excited. We're going to do everything possible to give you outstanding results and to help you achieve your objective and outcomes in being part of our program. I'm really looking forward to working with you, and our team is really excited about that prospect as well. So I just want to say thank you for trusting us in helping your business. Take care.
Now, I might have sounded a bit nasally there, and I wasn't very excited because I had a flu and a cold, but you get the idea. You send a thank you message 10 minutes after you've signed the deal and taken the money and say, hey, I just want to say thank you for jumping on. I really appreciate you trusting us. I'm super excited. We want to get this job done right, and we want to really help you. So I appreciate you becoming a client, right? You acknowledge everybody that buys after they buy, right? Then the numbers close. I'm going to give you 3 different closes, and then I'm going to stop and ask some questions because I know people have got some questions here, right? So use your prospect numbers to close a deal. This is how you do it. So often I have a question, say, hey, what percentage of growth are you targeting over the next 12 months? And they might say, well, we're looking at a 30% growth rate. Great. What does 30% represent in money to you? And they might say, well, it's $300,000 to us. So they're like $1 million business, right? So what's your average sale? I'll say like $10,000 average sale. So 30 sales, right? 11 months equals 3 sales a month. That's essentially what you want to be doing over and above what you're doing right now. So what is your conversion rate? They'll say 20%, right? That means that you've got to have 12 opportunities a month, 3 a week to close 3 deals a month on top of what you're already doing, right? Do you have a system over and above? Do you have a system right now over and above what you're doing now to get those extra sales? Just give me a yes or no. And most people go, no, I don't even have a plan to do that. So what do you think we should do? Do you think we should put a plan together and get that outcome? Because if we add $300,000 in extra revenue over and above what you're going to do, and if we were able to do that for the next 3 years, that's nearly $1 million worth of revenue. My question to you is, it worthwhile us working together so that you collect that million? Are you cool with that? I've never had anybody say no to me on that question, right? So if we put 300 targeted opportunities a month into a sales automation process with you, delivered an indoctrination education campaign to invite your exact target customer to hop on a call with your salespeople to discuss investing in your product or service, how many sales do you think your team will be able to close, right? They're going to go, well, based on 20%, we should be able to close like 30 deals, right? But if your worst case scenario is 1%, that's 3 deals and your 300K in sales is on autopilot. A 1% conversion on 300 opportunities gives you the 300K that you're looking for. 1%, right? Over the course of a year, you're going to build a relationship with 3,600 targeted prospects that you can run regular offers to, educate, build relationships, as well as generate an abundance of referrals from, right? What impact would it have on your business if we implemented that system revenue-wise? And they're going to go, that's a game changer for us. We're not doing that right now. We need this, John, right? So what do you think we should do? What do you think we should do with this system? And they're going to go, what's it going to look like to implement it, right? So the ownership close, they watch a demo video, right? This is if you send a demo video and say, hey, this is how we help people get these types of outcomes and results, you know, how you get referrals, how you get reviews, how you automate lead gen, speed to lead, doing reactivation campaigns, the Rob Bailey reactivation system, right? They watched the demo video. They asked, I asked, what was the thing that you liked most about the information you saw? What was the thing you liked most about watching that video, right? Why do you believe that that's important to you? What do you believe would happen if you had the system working for you? Knowing the impact that it can have, what do you think should be your next move when it comes to this? So if they've watched something from you that demonstrates an outcome, rather than you selling the thing, all you do is ask questions. So tell me, what did you like about it? And then why do you believe that would be important to you? Why do you believe you get the result? And what do you believe would happen if you had this thing working for you? What do you think the outcome would be? And they're going to tell you what it is. So knowing that outcome and that impact that it can have, what do you think should be your next move when it comes to doing this? And they're going to go, how do we put it into place, right? That's the ownership close. So I'm going to stop here for a moment because I want to ask you questions. I know I've been talking a lot. Any question? I've got a whole bunch of comments here. I've got to bounce. Thanks, Crystal. I really appreciate that. She said some nice things. Everything I've achieved is by following exactly what John has said. John gives you the framework to sell the same packages as I have been selling. So if you've got any questions about the process you heard about today, I'll be able to answer any questions. So thank you, Crystal, for saying that. Hand them a contract. I had a few. I'm just looking at the comments here. They get sales, breath and money, eyes, talk about the product, vomit features. Yes, if you do that. I'm going to niche it down to not doing a discovery call. Yes, you don't have to do that. You can do a one-call close. If you've got any questions, ask a question. I'll allow you to open your microphone if you've got a microphone. You can just, or if you want to just raise your hand and then I'll unmute you and answer your question, I'm happy to do that. But if you've got a direct question you'd like to ask me, feel free to do so. You've got to have some questions.
Can't figure out how to put my hand up, so I'll just unmute, John.
Okay. Who am I talking to?
Tom.
Tom.
There.
Yeah. Hey, Tom.
Sitting in my living room. So I may have come across one of your students. I don't know, because I was competing against an SEO guy and we both won the deal. He got the much better deal. but listening to you talk, I was always struggling on sitting down and doing these proposals of, here's our features, here's what we're going to do. You're going to have, blogging, this, and then we add it all up, and it's $2,500 a month. Another guy walked in before I could close the deal and sold 6-month contract for $78,000 for blogs.
Yeah, that's
and got their contract, got their money.
I know who that is.
So, but we both got the deal and we're working together, but he's definitely got the better end of that stick. But I watched that and I'm like, my God, they bought that.
Yeah.
And now I'm hearing you say it and I'm like, oh my God, this is the framework that he used to do this and steal that client that way. And I'm never going to do that again. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Will you cover how you set up the presentation? Craig, I do that in the program. You will actually get our presentation. You'll see how we do a $60,000 close step by step, and you'll actually go and see the agreement and everything on how we close the deal. So yes, I do share the demonstration in the coaching that I provide, but I'll talk about that but I'll talk about that at the moment. Question, what minimum size company is ideal for these higher prices? At the low end, you're probably looking about the $1.5 million, $2 million. At the high end, the sweet spot is between 3 million and 10 million is where the sweet spot is. $5 million companies will happily pay you 100 grand every day of the week, right? Because it's not a lot of money, but for a small business, they're not going to spend 5 grand a month or 3 grand a month. When I say small, anything sub 1 million, they're not going to spend that money, right? What you're looking for are businesses that are between 20 and 50 employees, about the rough average. 20 to 50 employees, you'll be able to close those types of deals. And here's the thing, and this is I just want to be very mindful of this. This is not about how much you are charging them. You've got to get that out of your head. This is not how much money you're going to make and how much you're charging them. This is about you valuing what you do. They are going to accept the price because you're offering it. They know the price before they even get there if you're doing this right. So the 5 grand is going to be nothing to them. They're going to go, oh, it makes sense. Many people, there's a guy, Simon, I don't know if Simon's here, but Simon did one of my trainings. He's in our coaching. He did our training last week where we're talking about how to actually set up a 4-figure prepaid strategy session. And the guy, Simon, took my script in that training, like literally took the script out, and within 12 hours delivered that to somebody, and they thought he was too cheap, charging him a $2,500 strategy session. They laughed at him and said that was cheap. They took the deal because it was a good deal. And then he said, because he didn't, he sort of got caught up in the emotion of, wow, I can't believe somebody paid me $2,500 for a freaking presentation, right? To do a sales pitch, right? So he got that out of his head. But then he went on to say, well, average client spends about $2,500 a month. Now, Simon has never sold Go High Level for $2,500 ever, right? But the client went, oh, wow, why so cheap? Like, why so cheap? That was the client's response. That's a good deal. I'm in. That's what the client said, right? This is the first time he ever pitched a paid strategy and closed the deal using the verbiage that I shared with him on that training, So understand that we have more problem with that price point than the customer does, because people are spending, think about this. There are people spending $30 and $70 and $80,000 a month on ad spend. And you're going to go in there and say, let's do the CRM for $500 a month. Right? The thing that's going to close more deals for them, you're going to negate the investment. They're spending more money on ads. They're wasting the ads because they're not going anywhere. They're not following them up. They're not closing deals, not converting. And you're going to come in at like 500, 1,000 a month. That's insanity. Please don't do that. Understand that these people are in business. And this is one of the things that I teach people really early in the piece, that if you do this one thing and start asking how businesses buy and what they do, you'll be shocked at how much money they're paying for things out there. Like Tom was saying, hey, I had to compete a guy. I was at the cheap end of the deal, and this guy signed a $78,000 deal. I was the cheap ass, and the guy took the bigger deal, not the shorter deal, right? So understand that 80% of your thinking around this money thing is here. It's you, it's not the client. They're already spending the money. They're already pricing this out that way. So if you come in too cheap, they're going to go, well, okay, what's wrong with this? I don't get it, right? But you come in at the right value proposition, they're going to buy. Listen to what Crystal said. She just doesn't sell the system. She gets commission as well. She gets a piece of the business because it's her IP that she's plugging in with Go High Level and the leads. It's her intellectual property that she's doing this with. If the client stops paying, guess what happens? Everything goes away, right? So she's now got a sticky client, right? The reason why I asked Crystal to come here is to show you what's possible, what's real, right? But because, and I'm going to say this with the kindness, as kind as possible. We hang around too many people who undervalue, who don't understand what they're selling, and we're listening to their price points. We're hanging around in communities where people are selling this shit at too cheap a price because they don't understand the value. And there are exceptions to the rule. There are a few people that are selling things at low prices at scale and volume. But it took them a lot of money to figure that out. That didn't happen. Oh, they just started and all of a sudden they got 1,000 subscribers to GHL and they're making $1 million in affiliate commissions. That's bullshit, right? That's not the truth. That is maybe 1 or 2 people, and I know who those people are. They're friends of mine, right? I know people who are selling Go High Level making $1 million checks, yeah? But that's not everybody. So everybody's got this idea that, oh, that's so doable. Well, yeah, if you know what you're doing and you've spent enough money and you've articulated your offer in a way and you've positioned that effectively, right? Yes, it is very possible. But the majority of people will never achieve that. They'll never do it. And so whilst you're in poverty mode at $97 and $297 a month, not making enough money, what happens is you start to negate the value of this. You go, oh man, it's not working, right? There's got to be another way. So you're going to go and listen to some other person and another person. And while you're listening to all these people, you're not making any money. You're not being in business, right? I want you to win. I want you to only sell this thing at 4 and 5 figures because I know there's enough people I work with that are doing this, right? And there's enough people, they're not doing the fulfillment. None of them are doing the fulfillment. They're outsourcing everything. Extendly as part of the service, right? Using level 9 virtual Joe Rules guys. They're not doing the work. They're outsourcing it. They don't have to. Right? It's the integration. You don't get caught up in the integrations. What you want to be caught up in is ideas. How is this going to work? What is it going to look like? Right? That's what you want to be caught up in. You want to be the ideas person for your market. Yeah. Carlos Soto, you've got your hand up. Feel free to unmute, my friend. I got you, Luis, and I got you, Ara. Carlos.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, I don't have a question. I just want to say thank you. I went to the Small Business Expo, like you said yesterday, here in Las Vegas, and in 1 hour, I got 2 appointments. I started asking them, what do they do? And they started telling me what they did. And they were like, what do you do? And I told them what I did. And they were like, bam. I was like, oh, we need to talk. And I showed them a little demo. And in an hour, I got 2 appointments. And I'm pissed off that I didn't get there early enough because I had some other stuff to do. Yeah. But I just wanted to say this stuff is gold, man. Thank you so much. I can wait till I go home to watch the replay because I missed this whole class.
You're welcome, man. I appreciate you. Be safe driving.
All right.
Ara, you got a question there. Let me ask Ara if you can unmute for me.
Sure. Hi, John. Thank you again,
Hey.
sir. I missed yesterday's session, but this is wonderful. So was your first one. Just a quick question about the numbers you're talking about, I don't think are unreasonable. But I came from a financial background as a marketing director in private equities, and last year was laid off, and I've had a side hustle marketing agency that I've done for about 20 years and had multiple clients, but it's always been where I've been involved in the production. I mean, from client sales, everything. I was a solo. But I've spent the last few months trying to build up a team. So my question really was, like, on these deals, like say the Crystal, I think she mentioned that there was I think 5,000 for the offer was, to get 500 B2B leads for $5,000, and she was using LinkedIn and cold email, which I did a lot in the financial sector. I mean, we had to manage our budget, so we had a combination of PPC, social. But what really drove was email. And that was one of the reasons that what attracted to me to High Level, because I went from using like enterprise level HubSpot. And when I decided not to go back in the workforce and work on my own, I was looking for solutions, you know, and a lot of small businesses just can't afford something like that. So this was kind of my entry point into the market with a SaaS platform that I could use. So the question, I guess, is and for an example from the $5,000, I know the offering is, you know, you're going to talk to the client about what their return is, and that might be a little bit different based on what their dollar amount is. But what are we as an agency actually doing to fulfill? I'm already set. I haven't signed up with Extendly, but I'm set on using them for my onboarding and for my support around, because I'm tired. I just spent 2 proposals. I haven't gone out today because I've spent half my day either in production or working on existing client stuff, or I was doing onboarding for a client to new VAs using the GHL. So I want to get myself away from this. I'm very comfortable in the sales position and a lot of the things that you spoke about today. But my issue is, how do I, you know, other than Extendly for the support and fulfillment, I've also just secured a designer that is at my level in terms of production. That I could feel comfortable in terms of keeping the quality of our agency and what I've built over the last 20 years. But what other kind of expenses and from an agency, what are we looking at in terms of fulfilling something like that?
Let me answer the question, because I know a lot of people have a similar question, like what's this $5 onboarding? Like the $5 onboarding, a $5,000 onboarding and a $30,000 onboarding, almost the same thing, just at different levels, right? But here's the thing. What you're selling is the integration. That $5,000 is one workflow. If the company let's say the company says, I've got 3 products. That's 3 different workflows. That's 3 different landing pages, 3 different emails, 3 different callbacks. Then it becomes $15,000 a month, not $5,000 a month, right? $5,000 is for one, not everything, one, right? One funnel, $5,000 a month, right? So 2 funnels, it goes up because you're doing the same amount of work to implement a secondary funnel, right? Now, what are you doing? Well, your first thing now you've got money, you've got real money, right? You're able to spend a little bit of time workflowing or mapping the correct outcomes for the client, because you've got resources, and you don't have to do that. You can have a VA do that, or you can have somebody that at least asks the questions about, great, what have we got to do for the implementation? So the answer to your question is, well, what are you selling them? If you're looking at Go High Level, what are the applications in Go High Level that you're going to activate for them, right? What's the shopping list, right? And that's what's going to incorporate in your price. But if you're doing, like, I spoke to somebody the other day, $500 a month is what they were charging, and they were putting in the review campaign, they were putting in the callback, they were putting in a lead management funnel, they were putting $500 a month. I'm saying, dude, you've lost money on the first day, because how many hours did it take you to customize and do all the stuff you need to do to make that work for the client? And they said, oh, you know, I spent like 20 hours or 30 hours getting it all done. Well,
they undersold.
They undersold, right? And then now you're charging the client $500. I said, now, how's it working for the client? And he says, oh, it's amazing. They're getting leads and they can see the sales. How much money have they made so far out of this $500 a month investment? Oh, I checked the other day, they closed $16,000 worth of sales this month. It's not even over, right? So they're paying, you've set up this entire machine for $500. And if their worst case scenario is, let's say I made $10,000 a month for them, right? That's $120,000. Over the next 3 years, they're going to spend $18,000 to make $360,000. You understand? That's insane, right? So here's the thing. What am I doing? You're doing it right. That's what you're doing. And you've got enough money to pay for a good copywriter. You've got enough money to pay for an integration or automation through Extendly. And it's not very expensive, right? You've got enough money for monitor the client. And even with all of those 3 components, you're still going to make $3,500 gross profit a month out of that client, right? So you don't have to do the work. You just have to manage the process, as in who's going to be in charge of what you're building. And once you've built this once, Ara, once you build it once, you've got it working for a client. What do you think you're going to do? What do you think Crystal's doing?
She's moving on to the next client and letting that run.
Up, right? She's got great. Well, right now we're working with a client that's paying us $10,000 a month for 1,000 leads. We've set the whole process up. Their conversion rate is going to be like worst case scenario, 3%. We know we're going to pump in $100,000 to $150,000 worth of revenue in the business every month. Do you want to see the system that they're using? Like, not who it is, but do you want to see the process we put down? Do you have a process pumping in 150 grand, $1.8 million in revenue a year? You got something like that happening right now? No. Would you like to see something like that happen? Right? Her sales pitch is easy. And because she's now talking, because she's doing the things I've asked her to do, she's in a situation where people are hearing from people who she's already sold to, like, hey, we've got this deal right now working with this rock star. We've never been able to do this before, but now we've got the whole automation thing happening. We've got the lead source happening. We've got the blah, blah, blah. So people are coming to her, and guess what? They already know they're going to pay 5 to 10 grand a month, right? They already know what the price is, So understand that the mindset you've got to come to this with is you're going to hire the pieces because you've got the affordability, and you're going to make more profit. You're going to probably make 10 times more profit selling this deal at 5 grand than you would selling it at $500 or $1,000. You understand? That's what we're getting to here. The fact that you're pricing it correctly means you've got the margin to get the job done right. I can go and I can go call Joe Rule from Level 9. Joe, I don't care what you charge. What are you going to charge me for the best freaking VA? He'll probably go, John, I'll give you one that's fully trained for $1,500 a month. Done. Give me 5 of them, right? Because they're fully trained and fully experienced in what I'm asking for, right? Now, I've got 5 employees for the cost of 1 employee. No healthcare, no other issues in terms of what I need, but I've got redundancy, right? Now, I only need 1 customer, Ara, 1 client to cover the cost of my team for an entire year. Do you know how much damage my team's going to do for a year for 5 grand a month? I don't have to work too hard. I got a team, right? That's the mentality. You want to scale your time based on the cost opportunity that you create for yourself when you make the investment to the client. That's where it is. Yeah. So understand that if you are thinking about how much of my involvement is, what you're doing is you're creating the revenue and the resource so that you aren't involved as much. You've got the freedom and you've got the ability to price that in. So what are you delivering? You're delivering exactly what the client's asking for. If the client, like, for example, I said to you, 1 funnel, 1 process, 5 grand, 5 grand setup. Oh, you've got 3 product categories? Great. Well, we can do the same thing. It's going to be 5 grand for each product category, right? So now you're paying me 15 grand a month, and you're going to be happy because you're going to be moving this product because you haven't been able to move it before. You're going to have automations working for you. You haven't had that before, right? So 80%, and this is to everybody, 80% of this whole process is here, right? I know a lot of people are tired not making money, right? It kills me to hear how people are struggling to grow their businesses. But on the other side of that is I know that they're not actually working on growing their businesses in most cases. That's why it's not growing. But when somebody's going to pay you 5 grand, right, and says yes to that, you're going to show up. You're going to do the best possible outcome for that client because it's worth it for you to do that. You're going to work harder. You're going to plug more things in. You've got more value proposition to deliver, right? And your client's going to love you for it because they'll see the professionalism, the fact that you're investing correctly in the outcome. That's the mindset you want to get into. Crystal's working her ass off. It's not that she's not working. She's working her ass off, but she's leveraging her time, right? There's going to be a moment where she doesn't have to do any of that work. She's not even going to do the selling anymore. She's already talking to somebody who's going to sell those $15,000, $5,000 contracts for her. You understand? That's scale. That's what I'm trying to help people with, is to get their head in, what are you really selling here? What are you offering here? What is the true value that you're delivering? And people will pay. I was at a trade show yesterday. I was at the, because I was there early this morning, but I was at the LA construction trade show at the LA Convention Center, right? There are companies there with product categories, 30, 40, 50, 100 grand per sale. Am I going to sell them a $500 a month Go High Level account to close a $30,000 deal that they make every day without Go High Level? When they plug in Go High Level, they're going to make double or triple that 30 grand? No, they're going to pay me 20 grand or 30 grand or 50 grand for the setup. because it makes sense. It makes sense because I'm going to anchor it against their sales, right? Right now, you're making the revenue that you're making without the systems, right? So if we were, and I don't have to answer the question, I'm just asking them. I spoke to a guy, they've got a $50,000 flooring product. I said, dude, if we automated this process, automated the quoting, automated the follow-up, automated these things, automated your appointment setting, what's going to happen? Where do you think the sales are going to go? And he's going, oh man, we're going to crush it. Well, tell me what crush it means. Like, I'm not going to say, well, that's great. Yeah, you're going to crush it. No. Tell me how much money that's going to give you. And he says, well, if we couldn't do an extra, 300,000 a month on that, I'd be eating my hat because we don't have anything like that in place. Now, if I wouldn't go to him with anything less than 50 grand because it's going to make it, he says he's going to make 3.6 million this year by implementing it. Right? So do you understand the psychology? Yeah. If you're charging at that level, you can afford to get the fulfillment you need to make it work. You've got more than enough revenue and profit in that. And once you've got the setup going, then it's about improving, tweaking. You want to help your client get better results with the system. That's what they're paying you for. So it's a completely different mindset. Yeah?
Yeah.
So a couple of people, Luis, I know you've been very patient raising your hand there. I'm going to answer a couple of questions and I'm going to share with you what I've been working on. And if you want to jump in, I'd love to work with you. So I'm going to be super quick. So Luis, if you can unmute for me.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I gotcha.
All right. Perfect. Let me ask you this, and I apologize. I missed the previous 2 days. I've only been on today.
Yeah.
The target market, and the thing you got me thinking about is, being able to sell it at a higher price. I used to work in industrial chemical sales.
Yep.
So I know that these guys are using Salesforce, SAP,
Yep.
and all of these software that they're paying hundreds of thousands of dollars a year.
Yep.
So to sell something for 5,000, 10,000, not that hard, but high level hasn't been friendly yet. I think they're getting there. But let me ask you, their customers are also other companies. So it's B2B to B2B,
Yep.
right? So is that the right market that you're proposing? I've totally missed that. So
I
don't know.
Any market that needs to acquire customers, any market that needs customers to spend as much money as possible on their product or service, any market that needs those customers to come back and buy more from them, that's the niche. You got it? It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if the sale is $1,000 or $100,000 or $1 million. It doesn't matter.
So I haven't been in the industry now for about 3 years, but most of the customers that I dealt with that were B2B, you only had their office number. I mean, everybody had a cell phone, but everybody always had an office number, and that was usually the purchasing manager. So
what's your point? What's your point?
Well, most of the automations tend to be, text automations, and yeah, okay. So there's some email ones. I'm asking because I'm sold on the idea that you got to be able to sell at a higher price.
It's not about the higher price here, Luis. You're asking me the wrong question here because you're trying to think in the way that they're thinking, and it's not the way that they're operating at. If I said to you right now, the most powerful computer in the land is that computer right there in my hand. That is the most powerful computer in the world, right? Mm-hmm. Now, if I'm text has a 90% conversion rate to view. So anybody sends you a text or message, you've got a 90% chance of somebody looking at what that message is. Even if it's a cold thing or prospecting thing, you're going to go, where's that from? How many times are you getting phone calls from people you don't know where the phone call is coming from and you're looking at the text, right? So why aren't we using auto text when somebody's responding, viewing something? We can set up automations. If I can have your sales team actively engaging in people that are responding or viewing the materials that they're putting in front of them, how is that going to improve your sales? How do you think that's going to change things, Luis?
But that's my point.
Yeah.
In industrial, and this is just because of the market that I know. I don't deal with that market right now. I'm in solar right now, but I'm thinking that this would be appropriate for industrial chemical sales. Most people they're not using cell phones for communications.
So what are they using for communications? How do they
old landlines, office buildings. This is
right. So these people never use an email. They don't communicate on email at all.
They do. Yeah, no, they do. Oh God, yeah.
And these companies you're talking about, they don't have websites. They don't have any websites, no presence online.
No, of course they do. But
do they have a form? Do they have an ability for companies to fill in a form, a contact form for information or any form of engagement?
Of course they do.
Okay. And do they have a physical post?
And you were just making a point that 90% of the people do their, that cell phone communication, texts, 90% is answered, right? And that's what right now I'm focused on that.
Yeah.
But
so hang on a second.
And that's the only reason I'm asking the question.
Luis, I know why you asked the question, but I want to ask you the question. I'm asking frivolous questions here for a reason. So you're telling me these people don't look up on Google on their phones for anything. They never search for anything. They're not using Google.
Of course they do.
Right?
Yes,
okay.
and I understand you're trying to corner me into things. Cool.
No.
Louis, you already had your answer, man. There are a lot of folks with hands up that are eager to talk.
Yeah,
thanks,
totally get it. No worries. Thank you.
Yeah, you're making a presupposition that is not entirely thought through in terms of how you can impact on the market. If they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on CRM, they're doing it. But Luis, let me tell you, it doesn't matter what niche. Right? There are plenty of niches out there that will spend this kind of money and more on what we're talking about here. I don't care if it's pharmacy, retail. We've got clients that I coach right now. They're selling into pretty much most niches in the market. So you can pick a niche, and I could say I've got somebody selling into that market, right? So business is business, and automation and AI is the game that we're playing here. And no code is a big game. So yes, John Denton, where are you, John? I got you. Let me answer your question. I'm going to take 3 more questions, and then I'm going to share with you. I guess that some of you might be looking for.
I got a little cold going, so.
Okay. Ask me a question, I'll give you a direct answer.
All right. On the leads you're generating through the funnels, are you having the VAs or ISAs? I'm gonna you pass me.
Okay, all right. So make sure water there.
John, can I ask a question? I'm desperate for an answer because of a meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
That is significant.
Who am I talking to?
This is Roy.
Hey, Roy.
Yeah, hi. A quick question. So I just signed on with a company that their average deal is $200,000. I get $20,000 for each deal. Okay. Mm-hmm. In my discussions with them, I realized that they don't have any viable lead generation or automation system.
Yep.
So I'm meeting tomorrow, another follow-up meeting, because I was just talking to them about selling their equipment, their device, and receive $20,000. But I see this opportunity of offering them lead gen and automation and so forth. But I don't yet have a clear strategy in terms of how to do that, because I mean,
where can we find a lead source for them that is relevant to them? I could find 20 different places where if you said, these are the customers these guys sell to, let's go and get a lead source. You can find leads right now on Lucia, UpLead, Apollo for 20 to 40 cents a lead that gives you a decision maker, it gives you a phone number and a verified email. And you say, how many companies you want to work with this year? And they'll say, we want to work with 50 or 100 new clients. Great. Who are the decision makers? What type of people are they? Great. Let's go and find who fits that role. You can go and buy that list for less than $1,000. Then you can go, I wouldn't buy the list. I would get the company to buy a list and say, great, we're going to target the top 300 clients in the market. I've got their verified email and phone number. What we're going to do is we're going to do an indoctrination process to introduce your services. We're going to automate that process. We're going to have your team follow those people up and introduce themselves. And we're going to account-based market those leads into sales. So for me to do that and set the process and indoctrination to, if there's a $200,000 sale, I wouldn't do anything under 100 grand for that. Now, if they closed, let's say I'm going to be worst case scenario. If they close 1% of the 300 leads that you generate for them, that's $600,000 worth of business.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Great.
We've got this on recording here, Roy. You can watch the recording. I'm not going to give you. Yes. I'm not here to give you the details.
No. And I'm done because I see there are a lot of hands up. I just wanted a quick
That's what I would do. I'm telling you, that's what I would do. I would literally go and buy the leads for nothing, verified decision maker, and their mobile phone number. And then I would create a campaign, account-based marketing, because $200,000 sale doesn't happen in one day. There's a cycle that they have to go through to make that happen. So if I want to generate $2 or $3 million worth of sales for this company, I would say, what's your average cycle? What has to happen through that cycle to qualify that client? Let's go and put people into that cycle. And so in the next 3 to 6 months, we're going to close $1 million worth of deals. And then 20% of that.
Yeah, just a little correction. Actually, their technology, they actually lease it. So their lease is around $4,000, but upfront I would get $20,000 because the overall cost. But yeah, so all right, thanks very much, sir.
You asked me the question what I would do to generate the leads. I told you exactly what I would do to generate the leads. I would do that for any business. Yeah. All right. So
thanks very much now.
Catherine, you've been super, super patient. I can see you in the background. Let me answer your question, Catherine. Just unmute if you can. If you can't. No, you can't. All right.
I got it.
Oh, you got it. What's your question, Catherine?
So I'm in healthcare, so I'm not a salesperson. Does the program teach people how to sell as well?
Yes.
Like I talk to people.
I'm not a salesperson. I'm not a salesperson either, Catherine. I help people out. That's what I do.
Okay, yeah, I'm good at that.
You're not a salesperson. You're here to help people out. You're helping.
I would want to deliver a really good service. So does your program teach us how to make sure that we do that? Like I didn't want to
if you're investing in a service and you want to deliver a good service, then you would hire the team to deliver a good service. I'm here to teach you how to go and find clients, engage them, convert them, and how to scale your business with a team. That's what I do, right? Okay. And so I'll talk about it in a moment. But in terms of number one thing I'd recommend, Haley, is be super clear about what you want as a business, what you're selling. That's the first thing. The second thing, I'd be sitting there thinking, okay, what types of businesses already do this, so that I can look at what those opportunities are. And the third thing I would do is jump in, not to me, but jump in and go start talking to people about the idea you've got, and then start to see how they get interested. You want to validate your idea very, very quickly. In terms of being able to deliver, it's a matter of just sitting down and going, great, well, let's pick one simple offer, like one simple thing that you like, not let's do everything, right? Because one offer, so to give an example, Catherine, we sold one funnel, one back pain funnel, one automation, emails, follow-ups, the whole thing. We sold $30 million of that one funnel, one thing, not 5 things, not 10 things, but that funnel generated $100 million worth of revenue a year. Right? That funnel generated $100 million worth of revenue a year, right? But we sold $30 million of that funnel. Yeah. So you don't need to get complex and get big to do that. Yeah.
To different businesses?
This was to one market. This was just a physical therapist.
Okay.
We sold the $30 million. We sold before we built a second funnel that we went and made another $30 million on. We sold one funnel, and that's it. That's all we sold over and over again. And we scaled that through people who just shared that in a marketplace. So very quickly, just so I know you've been very, very patient. I only want to spend 10 minutes of your time talking about this. We do have another training tomorrow. Tomorrow, we are doing how you get paid for your strategy. No more free strategy sessions. No more free proposals. You get paid for your time because you're in business. And I'm going to show you how you can use this as a foot in the door to generate clients, like actual paying customers, that you can scale into a much larger offer, right? So that's what we're going to do on tomorrow's training. So I'm super excited about that. It's one of my favorite trainings. I'm going to give you the script. I'm going to show you exactly how to do this. The recording of this training is going to be popped into the Facebook group. If you haven't already, go to the Facebook group that we've got set up for this group. And this is the Facebook. I'm just going to put the links here. Go to the Facebook group if you haven't already, because all the trainings that I've done over the last couple of days are in there right now, and they're up and they're loaded and you can watch them. I'm going to be taking them down on Monday. The reason I'm taking them down is most people don't watch the replays. So I figure, why should I leave them up there? Right. So the other reason I want them to take them down on Monday is I want you to encourage to watch them, because there's a whole bunch of people at the beginning of this presentation that took action and got results of the free training that I've been giving over the last couple of days. And so I'd like you to go back, watch the training, apply yourself, and go and get money. and go and get some results, because that's what you're here to do, right? So I'm going to very quickly go through what I've put together in doing this. And one of the reasons why is I'm trying to get people out of their heads and into this game, right, of actually generating good revenue out of this business. My goal for those people who do choose to work with me is to add 100 to 180K with a recurring revenue in the next 90 days into your business. That's my goal, right? If you apply yourself, now Crystal has crushed that. She's hitting 50, she'll hit 60, 70 by the end of next month. She's killed it, right? And we've got a lot of other people that I work with that are starting to hit their strides in that level as well. So what I've put together is to help you in a very simple format to gain clarity, to have focus, to have a structure to follow consistently, the accountability, the support of the community, and direct access to me. That's what I've put together. What I've created, or what I'm allowing you to get access to, is what I normally charge about $24,000 for. I'm letting you access this is our champions group. This is our high level coaching, right? So this is at the premium end. You're not going to pay $24,000 to access to it. I'm just saying that I've put this together in a way that I want to make sure you have all the resources that you need to be able to apply what I'm showing you to engage the market. That's what I'm doing here, right? So I'm going to walk you through this, and no, it's not 24K, right? Let me open up my screen and I'll just explain what I'm going to do here. Yeah. Oops. Okay. So essentially, the idea is for me to work with you as part of a group, right? Essentially, if you go to extendlyunleashed.com, I'll show the website in a moment, but everything is on there. It's an 8-week program with me. I want to help you create a very clear market fit offer. I want you to define your ideal avatar, including the campaigns and the outreach and the engagement. You'll have access to my processes and systems that are working right now. I want to help you structure a sales process so that you can convert clients easily, like I've shared here in this process. I want to define your core service. The idea is not to offer too much, but to offer the thing that's going to start the process into the engagement you're looking for. I want to create a no-brainer foot in the door offer with you. I can do this very easily, but I will craft an offer with you. Leads on a daily prospecting system. I'm going to show you a couple of ways in which you can get leads very easily without spending money on a daily structure. You'll have a self-fulfilling pipeline, engagement conversations, how to set the appointments, and the sales process, right? Access to my resource portal, training, processes, systems, tools, $200 million editable pitch decks. This is how many deals that this has closed only in the last year. White label providers that you can use. Extendly is great for support. I highly encourage you to use Extendly if you're not using them already to do your onboarding with your clients and your customer service. One-on-one access to me. You'll have access to my calendar. We do 2 calls, which we call work and action every week. On Monday and Thursdays, we get together, and what we want to do is real time. Here's your idea. Let's go and close the deal. Like Crystal was on the call here today. She asked me a key question on a deal. I said, this is what you got to go do, Crystal. Let's go and do that. Let's get feedback. Let's close the deals, right? So it's live with me, and we're working on things that are relevant to you moving the needle and generating clients. I do 1 training session per week, which is an advanced training session on strategy. You get the access, the recording, and any processes I have in that strategy, and you can go and apply it. The deal with Simon, applying my strategy on paid strategy, this is what we did last week. You will have access to that training where you close $2.5 grand literally in 12 hours. Part of a community. So we have a group, and this will be an Extendly group where you'll be collaborating, sharing, learning from others, just like Crystal, right, in that community. Okay. Accountability and action. I have a process and a system. The idea is to keep you accountable. If you can dedicate 1 hour a day, 1 to 2 max, right, then this is going to work for you. If you can't dedicate an hour towards growing your business, then I highly recommend that you don't do this. Please don't do this, right? Because it's just not going to work for you. But here is the thing. If we do small actions and we're consistent with those actions, and we open ourselves to the possibility or the opportunity of engaging in conversations that are relevant, then you will crush this. You will crush this, right? So 2 months access to my coaching, my 24K program. Goal is to help you close 3 to 5 deals in 8 weeks. I'm offering this at an incentivized investment And essentially the question you've got to answer yourself is, do you want to work with me on this process? If you go to extendlyunleashed.com, you'll be able to join straight away. I'll actually open up the portal on that just to give you perspectives. I'll show you inside the portal. Let me stop sharing the screen. Let me just put you over there. So the page that you're looking at is this page here. This is Extendly's Unleashed page. Everything is on the page that you get in this program, right? The whole idea is to get you clear, get you focused, and get you into the sales as quickly as possible. If you're just starting out, I want to get you your first client really fast. That's my goal, is to get you to paying customers as quickly as possible, right? So essentially on that page, if you go to Extendly Unleashed, what you're getting is all these programs are already in there available for you. How to define the market, how to do the fast action prospecting, how to create compelling offers. I give you an offer creation system that is being used by one of the largest subscription companies in the world, Agora. I actually teach you their copyboarding process on how you can actually create amazing sales copy. I actually give you the methodology. Pricing and packaging, I show you different pricing models that you can use, different packaging structures where you can adjust your mindset on how much more you can charge for what you do. So you actually get that in the actual training. Tactical cold email marketing and prospecting, I show you our 6 sequence that gets people an appointment opportunity. I also show you what we call a tic-tac sell by chat, where you don't actually have to do a sales call. You can actually sell off a PDF document, right? Send a document, a client signs up on a document. I'll teach that strategy. Appointment setting tactics, consultative selling skills. I actually show you our methodology and how we sell. And then what I do, this is already in the training, is I walk you through a pitch, the actual pitch that we close $80,000 to $180,000 deals on. So it's the actual process that we developed. It took us about a year to develop a system like this. You'll have access to the system, right? A little bit about what people have achieved in working with me. My guarantee, your worst case scenario is I give you your money back and I buy you an avocado sandwich, right? Avocado on toast, but you've got to apply yourself. If you apply yourself, this is going to work. If you don't apply yourself, then it ain't going to work, right? So I do guarantee this. You also get access to my portal with lots of resources here. And the investment is either a $19.97 upfront, get immediate access, or we do 3 installments of $7.95. That's the deal. So you get to choose whichever one that is. I'm happy to share inside the portal, so you get a bit of a look of what looks like inside. I don't know if you can see this. This is the portal, right? So we have a whole bunch of modules. All those things that I just said, they're already uploaded into the system. We have a sales process blueprint system that you can follow, like get you into the game of being in business very, very quickly. We have a whole bunch of resources. There's a whole bunch of trainings. I've got some amazing experts, guys like Eli Wild, who's Anthony Robbins' Global Sales Director, is in our program. We've got a few other trainings in here. You'll find that within the resources, there are templates, docs, SOPs, all provided in this program, right? Resource partners, I give you our consulting decks. I give you our pitch decks. You can have editable pitch decks, so you can actually apply them. Contracts, NDAs, all that sort of stuff is in here. We have resource partners that can do landing pages, websites. We've got Extendly up here that can provide you with incredible customer support. And the bonus is that I was actually invited to do a session with a bunch of agencies. And for 90 minutes, they asked me the exact questions of what we drive a business to 7 figures. And I literally showed them how to get 7-figure businesses going within 3 months. So that's part of the back end of the actual portal. If you go to extendlyunleashed.com, you can feel free to jump in. I know that there's a few people who already have. Thank you for those people who are jumping in. I will leave the doors open for a little week or so you can decide. I'm not asking you to just jump in and rock and roll, but my goal is to try and help you to speed up this process of generating clients. The investment in this program is super, super low. You can thank Bayant Singh from Extendly for instructing me on where to put the price point on this. But ultimately, my goal is to get you to win the game at a higher price point. That's the goal. If you like what you've seen so far, then you know that I can do this with you. If it's not for you, I understand you're not ready, right? But if you want to speed this game up, be held accountable, walk through consistency, you're going to do the deals. That's my goal. So if you've got a question, please ask. Shut up and take my money. Thank you. I appreciate that. I got a few people already very quickly jumped in. Thank you for doing that. I'm getting crazy notifications now. Any questions? The link again is Extendly Unleashed. .com. Did that come up? For some reason, that's not coming up. Hang on. Let's try that again. So, I'm happy to answer questions here. I can hang out with you for a few minutes. Tomorrow's session is going to be really cool because I'm literally going to kind of show you exactly what you do to get people to pay you to sit down and talk to them about Go High Level. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow. So it's going to be super fun, super cool.
My coughing stopped. I'm ready to ask you my question.
Please ask your question.
Okay. So I get a client signed up. I'm generating leads and I'm doing that in High Level.
Yeah.
Is the client working that lead inside a High Level, or am I passing it off to another CRM system for them?
No, they should be working the lead in their High Level, because if you're teaching them to use your system, they should be using a system.
Okay.
Like if you're going to set something up for people, say, hey, here's how it works. You want to pay attention to what they're doing with it.
Right.
Like I would plug in Extendly, and Extendly provides the training on how to use the system. So if they're investing, they're using the system. But what I generally do, so for example, what we do in our lead gen business is we marry up a VA. That VA is just monitoring the account, and they're seeing the activity and the conversation streams. And if they see that a lead's kind of lagging or somebody hasn't followed up the opportunity, this is what we do. We actually notify the CEO of the company that the leads aren't being followed up, and then we notify the salesperson. And the salesperson sees that the CEO's got the memo on these leads not following up. Wow. So pretty soon, all the leads are being followed up, right? Because guess what the CEO does? What's this stuff about not lead following up, right?
Right. Yeah. So give them the report card. So in the pricing structure, then if they're going to do it, depending on how many salespeople they have in the system. So for your users, do you have that as packages? You got 10 users, 20 users, whatever.
You can package it up any way you like. If you're going to set this up like a software service, like software as a service like that, you can say 5 users, 10 users, 20 users, enterprise. You can do it in that model. Depending on the size of the company. So if you're working with a company that's got 20 salespeople, well, that's going to be a $25,000-$30,000 deal, right, per month.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm looking at. My niche is in real estate, working with, and I'm looking at going to small brokerages and bringing that whole brokerage and everything over to my brokerage that I'm in, but just running everything for them, generating their leads. They go make sales. They make money. I make money.
Then you got to look at a package user rate. So yes, you can. Okay. Yeah, yes, you can. I mean, that's a traditional model of selling software, is number of users.
Right.
But for me, you've got to make sure you're pricing the strategy correctly in terms of the implementation part.
Yeah, I worked that all out in a spreadsheet just a little while ago, and I like the deal with Crystal where it was, hey, I got a base, but I'm also getting a commission on each closing for your sale. So I threw that into my spreadsheet, and I'm like, oh, there you go. There's my extra money that I wanted.
Yeah, she averages 16%. She's working on a deal right now where she gets 80% of the commission.
What'd you say, 80?
80% of the commission. The company is getting 20, she gets 80, because she's building the process. Like we've been talking about, I've been helping her. So this is one of the things. If you come on board with me, I'm going to help you close deals like this, right? Okay. So I'm going to help you. If you come to me with a client, we can talk about what type of structures and deals you can offer the client. With Crystal, she's got a deal where she realizes she can actually do the end-to-end for the client, right? So what are you going to do? You take 80% of the sales, right?
Okay.
So yeah, so this is all
I
about,
signed up, so I guess you're going to be.
this is all about deal making, right? This is how you make deals, right?
Right.
So yeah, there are many ways that you can offer. There's somebody else in our group, Tim Hyde. Tim Hyde, every deal is a rev share deal. So it's like 20 grand to set up Go High Level. Then it's like $7.5 grand a month to manage it. And then it's like, after we pay this, so the way he works his percentage deal is that the percentage pays for the fee of the $7.5 grand for the month. Once that kicks in, they get 7% of every sale thereafter. So he's got one client that's paying $40,000 a month in commissions after they get their $7.5 grand back from the recurring revenue, right? Okay. And they have to pay it because they wouldn't get that if the system wasn't working.
Right, exactly. It makes it, if they're making money, you get to make money. The one thing I've had over time and looking to sell this has been that the complexity of high level is beyond what most people understand to manage. And even those that I've talked to that are managing it haven't really stretched what they could truly do in workflows. I mean, it's some amazing stuff. You throw, Zapier or some custom Python in there, and there's nothing you can't do. So, and I see that especially in real estate, you need to tweak it pretty much every month. Something has to be changed. So I'm looking at this as saying, like you said, as a management piece, there's got to be ongoing management. I wouldn't leave it to them. I would say you need somebody that's understanding it and can keep you on top of the market.
The one thing I'll also help, this is for everybody here, just to understand this piece of it, right? It's for some people, it's really hard to jump into this idea. I'm going to set up something for $5 grand, right? Sometimes it's a mindset leap, right? So what I'm saying to people is like, where are you comfortable? So most people go, well, $1,500 would be a fair fee to start, right? So you start at 15. The next client you deal with, you're going to offer it at 2. The next client you deal with, you're going to offer it at 2.7. The next client you deal with, you're going to offer it at 3.5, right? So what you're doing is you're getting more and more confident as the client is accepting the deal. There's going to be a point where you hit a ceiling. When you hit that ceiling, you're going to add some more value, and then you're going to increase the price again. You're not going to drop the pricing. So to get comfortable, I'm not saying you all have to go out and sell Go High Level $5 grand. I'm just showing you that there are people selling it at that.
Right.
And it's not hard to do, right? The very thing that you are selling Go High Level for $500 or $1,000 for, there are people that are easily selling exactly what you're selling for the same price, not adding any extras, but they're charging the value of what the service is. So the idea is you want to get comfortable, right, in as you grow, right, as you're doing this, because the key thing here is you want to build your confidence. Right? Like number one, you've got to be super clear about what you're doing. Number two, once you've got that clarity, you've got a level of certainty. Once you've got certainty that you've got validation, now you've got confidence, right? Once you've got that confidence, sky's the limit, because now you understand you're going to sit there. Like when Crystal started with me, her first deal was not a $5,000 deal. Her first deal was like a $2.5 grand deal. Her second deal was a 10 grand deal. The first deal was 2 grand. Second deal was 10. Third deal, 5 grand. Fourth deal, 5 grand. Fifth deal, 15 grand, right?
Yeah.
So, so understand that this whole price point thing is not the thing you want to be focusing on. What you want to be focusing on is what is the impact that you're going to have on the people you serve? Because like right now, some of the people who are trying to get this idea of their price point, one of the things, I'll tell you all, the easiest way to get your mind on the price point of where the client will buy is to not tell them what the price is, ask them what they would pay for the system.
Right. That was actually, that there was 2 things that you said that really clarified stuff for me. And I was like, oh, okay, I can see that. And that was one, not figure out what is my thing worth. It's more of like, what's the value to them? What are they doing that if I could solve that, it would increase their revenue by X. And then saying, well, I should be getting part of that revenue because if I solve that revenue issue for them, they have no problem in paying my price.
The other thing you got to think about is if you go half of half, right? So what I do is like, I don't like to sprout numbers. Like I don't like to tell a client you're going to, this is what you can make. Right. I want them to tell me what they think they can make. Because if I tell them, it's bullshit, right? But if they're in their head, so if you looked at that closing with money model, right?
Right.
I'm saying, what's your percentage close rate? And they go, 20%, right? Great. So 20%, this is what your close rate want to be. This is what you need your numbers to be. But what if you only closed like not 20%, but at 1%? At 1%, you're still making that number, right? So when then they look at me going, they'll sit there and go, John, you're insane. We're closing at 20. Yeah, I know, but 1% gets you there, right? So what kind of deal do you think this is? And they go, well, it's a freaking no-brainer. Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So what do you want to do? And I go, I'm in, right? I'm on, right?
Right.
And so you don't have to say anything. They will buy it themselves in that process. That's where we get, I know there's a little bit of tung fu in there. That's tung fu, not kung fu. I know there's a little bit of tung fu in the way that we communicate. But what we're trying to do is we're not in the business of telling them anything. We're in the business of helping them make that decision. To be able to help them make that decision, you're asking questions that they're answering for themselves, not you have to answer for them, right? So that sales model that I've got, well, tell me what your objective is. Some people don't even know what that is. Like I've sat down with people and I go, well, I don't know. And they look at me and go, well, what do you think it should be? And I'm like, well, what's the best year of growth you've ever had, right? In the last 2 years, what's the best quarter of growth you've ever had? And they say, oh, we had a 30% growth in that quarter. Okay, what does 30% sound like to you overall, revenue-wise? Well, that would be really cool. Great, well, let's break that down. But then before I go into breaking it down, I'm going to go, great, if we're going to go for 30%, well, why is that important to you? Like, why is that a hell yeah must, we've got to do this? Because you only did it in one quarter 2 years ago. Now you're telling me you want to third the company in 1 year. So now you've got to tell me, why the hell is that important to you, right? Because if we don't know why that's important, it doesn't matter what we come up with here. No one's going to do anything, right?
Right.
And then they're going to go, well, the reason it's important, and I'll share with you a scenario that happens often in this situation, right? There are a lot of companies that are tired. A lot of business owners are freaking tired. They've been working really hard and they've really been struggling, right? And so to think about growth is they think growth is at an expense of their resources and their resilience, right? They're like, oh, we're going to grow. I can't even get to freaking 1%, let alone 30%, and I'm fucked, right? I'm feeling tired, right? And I'm saying, hey, you forget that this business isn't just you. There are the people who are going to get you there, the people who are working with you and us, right? So at the end of the day, if you had those resources, if you had that 30%, where would you use those resources? And they would sit there and say, I would hire the people I need to hire for us to scale. Great. I would develop a new product that we would launch into the market and generate more revenue. I will buy that jet ski that I've been telling my kids that I want to buy for the last 3 years, because at 30%, we can afford to do it, right? So tell me why that's a must for you to actually get it done. And they'll go, it's a must because of these reasons. Awesome. So you're telling me you're going to go for that because of these reasons. I'm going for it. Great. Because the last 3 years, you haven't been going for it, right? You've been putting out fires. But now, by hook or by crook, we're going to go for it. And I want to help you get there. We cool? Yeah. And they go, yeah, we're cool. So now, what's stopping you? Oh, I don't have the right people. We haven't got the right expertise. It's too complex. It's blah, blah, blah. Okay, if we were able to shift some of those things, right, and actually apply what we know that will make the difference, what do you think we should do? Like, I'm not saying we should do this. I'm saying, you tell me, like you told me that this is your bottleneck. So we're going to eliminate these bottlenecks. So once we've eliminated them, what do you think we should do? And they go, well, we should do this. Okay, great. So can I walk you through what the investment is to make that happen? Right? Now, I've already anchored the price, right? Because we're going for that. I've already said, well, we're going for that, but I'm not asking you for all of that. I'm asking you for a piece of it, right? Do this. We want that gap to pay for itself. Like like with Tim, the first $7,500 a month pays for itself before you pay us commissions on top of that. Right. So now, if this thing's paying for itself, what do you think we should do?
Yeah.
Let's go, right? Great. Well, let me walk you through how we do that, right? So the sales model is very subtle. It's like, tell me what you want. Why? Why do you want that?
Right.
What has you from getting that? right? You've not been able to achieve, this is what you want. You haven't been able to achieve that consistently, but now you want it. So what's missing here, right? So if we can support you in bridging the gap for missing, then what do you think we should do with that? Should we work together? Yes, we should. Great. If I made it easy for you to get started, are you okay to get this thing going now? Yes. Great. What do you think we should do? Right? It's not a hard pitch.
It's not.
What you're asking them to do is you are asking them to own it.
Yeah.
You are not selling. You're making a sale because you're helping out, right?
Right.
But you're asking questions so that in their mind, they're owning it. And that's why this process works. If we didn't do that, right? If we sat there and said, let me do the demo and let me tell you how great we are, and that's like me, 80% of me having a conversation about, that's like what I call corporate masturbation, right? We spend all our time talking about ourselves and we're literally just throwing it onto the person thinking, oh, you guys must be great. Surely we should be doing this. No, that's not how it works, because okay, well, what are my other options? Because you haven't made it relatable to what they do. People are trying to sell the software. They're not trying to sell the transition by using the software. And that's what you need to do, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, that actually is a process I've been using for about 1.5 years because, at our brokerage, we have a process just in bringing in agents, for instance, which is just discovering what their big why is, looking at what it's going to take for them to achieve that why. So you're anchoring why they want to be a realtor in the first place. So you're talking, pretty much why would you want to do this system? What difference is it going to have in the future of, your business life? And like you said, especially for owners, I have seen that several times in my former career in technology, where owners were like, that'd be great to grow that, but I'm already running at 110%. You add that to me and you're going to kill me with a heart attack. So you got to show them how the automation gives them time back.
Yeah. To answer your question, Thad, tomorrow, we have a work and action session tomorrow.
Okay.
So we can jump in tomorrow. Thank you, John. I appreciate your input. If anybody else has any questions, I'm happy to hang in for a minute and answer your questions.
I have a question.
John? Yes. Who's that?
My name is Haji.
Hey, Haji, how you doing?
I'm good. Quick question. I mean, great training and all that. And there's been a lot of conversations surrounding positioning and structuring and pricing. And all of that has been very, very informative. But if you're servicing local businesses and you kind of sort of know their price point, what is your thoughts about putting prices on the website?
I've got no problem putting prices on a website, because if you put your price on a website and somebody still comes and talks to you, they know what the price is right up front. So you're dealing with a qualified prospect on the price. So I don't have a problem with putting prices on a website. But you got to. What I would do is probably do a proper value stack on the value of that price point that you're looking at. So what are they getting for their money in comparison? And I don't have a problem putting prices on a website, to answer your question. Not at all. Why wouldn't you?
Well, someone say that you can't. There's no way you can make a price proposition without first demonstrating value. And usually, when you have stuff on the website, you have not really demonstrated the value, and put things in proper context. Is that a good comment?
There are companies, there are agencies that I work with that put their $60,000 price point on their website for building websites, and they don't have a problem with it, and they get clients paying them $60,000 to build a website. So no, there's heaps of people I work with in the world that are running 7-figure, 8-figure marketing agencies that put their prices on the website without any issue.
But John, the reason why
they demonstrate the value, yes, they do. They educate, they nurture, they show people why, they share their case studies. Of course, they're giving context for that price point. So to answer your question, should you do it? Well, yeah, you can. You don't have to. Yes, you want to demonstrate the value proposition, so you need to articulate why they're investing at that level. You can, if, like, for example, there's a lady I work with, Janet. Now, Janet only works, the company she worked with is only Fortune 500, nothing else. She's an SEO expert for Fortune 500 companies. She charges $250,000 for an SEO audit, $250K for an SEO audit. Right? Her average client is paying $100,000 a month for SEO services. She only speaks to people who can afford to pay that money. She doesn't talk to anybody below that. Anybody that doesn't see that value proposition of where she at, they don't buy it. And she never has a conversation with anybody below that price point. You know why? Because they can't afford it. And so she knows that when somebody's sitting down with her in front of her, that they can afford the 1.2 million they're going to spend with her per year to do SEO, right? So she puts herself in that price point. She says, I only work with companies at this level. I only work with companies with this market cap. I only work with, so guess who comes and talks to her? Only the people who fit that criteria, no one else. So, so to answer your question just shortly, so I can answer some other questions here, my answer is, yeah, you want to put a price on the website? By all means, do it. If you put the value in there, you put the articulation of why they should pay that, you make it easy for them to go through your sales process. Like everything, test it, right? There's no right or wrong answer. The right answer is with the market. It's not with me. It's not with you. It's who's going to buy. They will tell you whether or not it's worth it when they step up to the plate. So for me, when somebody says, what do you think about this? My answer is always going to be yes. Do it. Go for it. Test it. Because by putting it out there, you're going to get the feedback very quickly. By putting it out.
But here's the thing. But what if you're used to selling at the smaller price point?
Yeah.
But then you run into a client that's definitely going to get a higher value proposition, and you cannot sell it at that $500 or $247 price point.
That's
How do you have that conversation?
That's your.
How do you have that? Huh?
That's your limiting belief.
Okay.
What you've just stated is what you believe, but it's not the truth, because I know people have done exactly what you said they can't do. So how do you do that? You talk to people, you understand where they're at, or you level up the type of client you're going after, right? I just want to give you people a chance. I want to thank.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. I want to thank you. We had a whole bunch of people jump on. I want to say thank you for those people jumping on. John, Craig, Susan, Alicia, Felicia, thank you so far. We've got a bunch of people jumping on. I just want to acknowledge you. We are having a work in action session tomorrow. You're going to get an email from me. Who else is there? Laurie, can this course be accelerated where we are reaching, actually, you can reach leads from day one, Laurie. We can go and get a client tomorrow if you want. No problem at all. We've had people do that straight away. So if you want to, we can hop on the work in action session. I'll tell you, go and get a client tomorrow. Many people who've been on this free training have gotten clients and sales on this free training in less than 48 hours. So is it possible for you to get a client straight away, Laurie? Absolutely. There's already people that have been proving that. So yes, thank you for asking.
Well, thanks.
Absolutely. Yeah. When does it begin? Tomorrow, Craig. We've got a work in action session tomorrow. Hey, Dora, I know you've been really, really kind in hanging out here. Dora is one of the people that I coach and work. Do you mind unmuting for a second, Dora?
Sure.
Yeah. Just your feedback and your opinion of the experience you've had so far with Unleashed.
I would say for me, it's been exactly what I needed. It's been extremely transformative. I had started with Go High Level and was using it for 2 years and ran into all the frustrations of trying to do everything, selling it for $297, and after meeting John, I had a paradigm shift, and I've had to go back and restructure things. I'm using level 9, although I did interview with Globotel and plan to use their services for some things as well. But anyway, my journey has been, following his teachings, learning about the different ways of doing things in ways that I hadn't thought about previously is invaluable. So I'm excited about my future. I can see a lot of possibility, and I work a full-time job, so I take action as I can. But I am moving forward, and I've seen changes in the few weeks that I've been with his program. So I appreciate the service that John has provided us.
Thanks, Dora. I appreciate it. Appreciate you saying that. Anybody got any other questions? I'm happy to answer some questions here. We've got a few people. I know we're hanging out.
How are you?
Hey.
How are you doing, John?
I'm good.
Okay. So my name is Dalkeith Kennedy. So give you I just have 1 minute backstory. So back in 2017, I started with an affiliate business. And unfortunately, that company, the FTC, closed them down. And so I lost a lot of money there. So now I'm in another affiliate marketing game again. That's where I have to look at experience. So about last week, Wednesday, I was with ClickFunnels, and I was paying the $297 over by ClickFunnels. A friend tell me about the Go Higher Level. I'm over here now. So I cancel all my ClickFunnels and I'm over by Go Higher Level. So the company I signed up with recently to be an affiliate, I have to pay $3,000 up front. And then they give me a share funnel, and then I have to go out there and recommend his stuff to other people.
What's the commission on the affiliate product?
Oh, the product is like $3,000, so I get 50%.
You get $1,500. Okay, so it's a high ticket product.
Yeah, that's the cheapest program they have.
What's your question? What's your question?
Okay, so my question now is that now that I come over by the Go Higher Level and I'm understanding it somewhat since I came on these 3 days with you, I'm understanding what exactly they do. I don't really want to focus no more on that affiliate aspect of it. I think I can more help brick and mortar business. So my thing is this: how do you do I have to get to show people what I do? Do I have to at least make a little video?
That's one way to sell the systems and the process that you have, is demonstrating how the system works. You can be your own case study. Like if you're using Go High Level and you're converting appointment opportunities and you're having automated follow-up and you're closing deals, you're a perfect demonstration of the system working. So you can literally go to the market and say, hey, I've set up a process that this is how we go and get clients, or this is how we get converting. Would you be interested in having a look at what we're doing as a model? And then you could literally just show them a workflow. You don't have to show them the whole thing. You just show them a workflow and say, well, this is the system. Do you have a system like that? And they go, no. And so, well, if you had a system like that, what do you think would happen? I say, well, this will help our sales and blah, blah, blah. And then you say, okay, well, can I walk you through how we can work together and implement the system? And then you can make an offer, right? So you can do it that way. So that's just one example of, but the thing here, I want to make sure I've got your name right. It's Del Keith. The reason, the thing that you've got to do is that you've got to think there's one core thing I want to sell. And then the next question is, who is already spending money on what I'm doing? And that's a very easy question to answer, by the way. And then once that's the case, if you've got your own model, you can literally just share what you're doing. Right. And so when we started our agency in the physical therapy space, I mean, that business now is 8 years old. It's doing $60 million a year in revenue in an agency, right? Which is not too bad in one market, in one niche. But how we started that, how we sold that, is we had one physical therapy practice that we worked with and we built the model for them. And then we got the results and then we went, hey, this is what we did. We built the very thing that you want in your physical therapy business. We built this funnel, this model. Do you want it? Right. And this is what we charge for it. And so, so we got to a place where we were charging $5,000 a month for one funnel, for a back pain funnel. So they would pay $8,000 for setup and $5,000 a month. And then the back pain funnel would generate between $30,000 and $100,000 worth of revenue per month for them. So we tested the idea. We built the thing first and we went, oh, it's working, great. Okay, then our next idea is, will this work somewhere else? That was our next problem, right? So we went to somewhere else and said, hey, this is what we're doing over here. Do you want to do this thing too? And we sold it, right? And they said, okay, great. So let's make it work here. Then we made it work in every different economic environment, every different location. We did it in big cities. We did it in country towns. We did it in medium-sized cities. We did it in different countries. And it worked, right? We made it work in every circumstance. So it was very robust, right? So now we had a system. So now when we go to the market, we sit there and say, hey, we're kind of, this. People already know who we are and what we're doing because of how many people have been using the system, right? So it all starts with one client, Dalkeith, and you could be your first client. And then from there, you show what you do, and then it's the next person and the next person. Before you know it, you got to rock and roll, right?
Okay.
That's what I would do. Okay.
Yeah, but you said I should start with one offer, right?
One offer, the simplest offer.
That's where I don't get it.
Yeah.
So how much offer does Go Higher Level have? I'm not asking. I'm just
probably about 40. There's 40 different offers you can make out of Go High Level. 40.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay,
and
because I just heard
by the
about
Go
it
High
last week
Level
Wednesday, right?
by the Go High Level Summit, they're going to add another 30 different things that you can offer to the market. So you just got to pick one. Pick the most common thing. One of the most common things is database reactivation. Rob Bailey's free training inside of Go High Level. That's a great program. So you can start with that.
Okay, so you recommend I go watch that training then?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Got to go now. Thanks, Dora. I appreciate that. By the way, thank you for those who've jumped on. I've had a whole bunch of people jump into this program, and I appreciate that. We do have a work and action call tomorrow, so you're going to be jumping on your first work and action call tomorrow. You'll see that inside the portal that you'll get access to. I'll take one last question. I'm going to say thank you very much because I'm really hungry and I want to go get some dinner. Any questions? Just raise your hand and I will answer your question. Thank you for all of you staying so long. I cannot believe there's so many people still here. I appreciate you hanging with me. You should go and hang with your family or something. It's late in the evening for some people. So I appreciate you hanging out with me. I will get this recording up into the group. I will get the recording up in the group. So you'll get that in the next 20 minutes. This recording, the whole presentation, will go up into the group. In the Facebook group, you'll be able to watch it. I think we've answered all the questions. All right. First of all, I want to thank you for hanging with me for so long. I really appreciate that. I hope you've got a whole bunch of ideas. I want to congratulate all of you who took action in the last 48 hours and applied the training and got sales and results. I want to say thank you for sharing that at the beginning of this call. Tomorrow's session is going to be really cool. I'm going to show you exactly how you get paid to deliver a strategy session, right? Instead of you doing free strategy sessions, now you're going to do paid strategy sessions. So I'm going to share exactly how you do that. I'm going to share the model, the messaging on how you sell it. I'm going to show you exactly how to sell it. And then you'll be able to go and make money straight away rather than giving away free stuff all the time. So to those who have joined me, thank you so much for jumping on. I really appreciate that. I'm really looking forward to working with you over the coming months. For those who are considering, the door is open. If you just go to extendlyunleashed.com, you'll see everything you need to know about the program in there. Otherwise, I'm going to see you same time, same bat channel tomorrow. We're going to have some fun and we're going to go and get some clients. And please apply what you've learned. Go and watch the previous trainings and do what some of the other people are doing. Apply those strategies and go and get some sales now. Go and make some money. Thank you, everybody. You take care. I'll see you tomorrow.
Do you want a proven way to increase your lead generation on your website and sales funnels, as well as add an additional revenue stream to your agency? Check out www.chathq.io today and start your free account.